So let me know you're watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. We're going to get started. 5:50. All right, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. If it's your first time joining, I'm Jared with Scamware 101. And our mission here at Scamware 101 is to spread awareness of common scams that target individuals just like you, your friends, your family. All right, scams that you get targeted with every day by an email or a phone call or a text message, maybe even a letter in the mail. Those are still circulating too. There's lots of scams out there, and awareness is key because the scammers these days, they're determined to take all your money, not just $100, not just $1,000. They want to take everything you have. They want to clear out your checking account. They want to clear out your savings account. They want to clear out your bank account. Right? They want to clear out everything you got, your retirement fund. So awareness is key because once they steal this money, very rarely, sadly, the victims don't recover the funds often. Once these funds are taken. So we hear all these horror stories about people losing their life savings, their retirement savings. Retirees get their bank accounts cleared out by these scammers. And look, everybody's susceptible to these types of scams. These scammers do this for a living. They do it all day long. They're great at what they do, and they're winning. Right? They're winning because they're making so much money. Right? And there's every year the losses that are reported increase. So scammers are winning. And that's why I do this live stream, to spread awareness of these scams. Because awareness is how you're going to prevent yourself from becoming a victim. And awareness is how you're going to save your loved ones from becoming a victim. Awareness truly is key. Learning after the fact is too late. A lot of times there's not second chances. Right? Once these scammers get your money, they got it. So you have to be aware, and you have to have your guard up, and you have to know what to look out for. And that's what we're doing over here at Scamware 101. We want to spread awareness of these scams and what to look out for. We're going to show you examples of these scams that are circulating. We're going to show you emails. We're going to play you phone calls. We're going to show you text messages. We're going to talk about some red flags to help you identify that you're talking with a scammer. And a lot of the red flags we're going to discuss, they're kind of your last chance to recognize a scam. Right? So very important to pay attention when we go over that. And we usually stream for about 3 to 4 hours. We do this once a week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's one of the ways that we spread awareness. Many other ways. You can join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com. So go check out our website, scamaware101.com, and hit join mailing list. It's free to join. We'll send you some useful scam awareness tips, remind you when we're going live. You can unsubscribe at any time, but we won't abuse the privilege, I promise you. So go join, and we'll only send you useful scam awareness information. You can also follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We have links to all our profiles here on our website, scamaware101.com. Also, we do accept donations. So if you want to help out, you go to scamaware101.com/donate. And we also have super thanks and memberships enabled on YouTube. So if you want to help support our mission, you can help out by donating directly. Again, scamaware101.com/donate, or using the super thanks and the memberships on YouTube. And finally, we also have some merchandise available too on our YouTube store. We have a link on our website to the store, but here's our Scamaware 101 coffee travel mug, which you'll be seeing me drinking out of throughout the live stream to stay alert for all of you out there. There's also a link to our merch store here at the bottom of our site. So if you want to help support our mission here, there's some mugs, some water bottles, some mouse pads. We got some stickers on the site too. Purchase some merch and help support our mission. And of course, make sure to hit that like, follow, and subscribe button. It really does help. We're pretty much counting on your likes and subscriptions. So, with that said, let's get started. Let's go over some common scams here. Make sure to let us know in the chat if you've encountered these scams, if you know anybody's been targeted by these scams. And again, we'll be going for 3 or 4 hours this evening. So, share this live stream, share it on your timeline, invite some friends to it. Let's get some more people in here. All useful information to be aware of. All right, so let's talk about our first scam this evening. And that's going to be Social Security impersonation scams. All right, so this is when scammers impersonate Social Security officials and claim there are problems with the victim's number or benefits. They threaten action unless immediate payment or information is provided. Scammers also send fake emails that appear to be from Social Security but link to dangerous websites. Right, so there's a few things to keep in mind here. Social Security impersonation scams. This could be a phone call that comes in from a scammer. This could be an email that impersonates Social Security. This could be a text message that you receive that's claiming to be from Social Security. Right? This is one of those scams where we're being targeted from all angles by these scammers. And Social Security is a popular agency for these scammers to impersonate. So really, any type of communication involving Social Security, whether it's an email, a phone call, text message, even a letter, be suspicious, have your guard up, and if you think that it's legit, verify through the Social Security website. Right? Verify through official channels. And that's going to be a common theme throughout this live stream. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Always verify through official channels. Right? Whether it's a phone call, an email, text message, you can't trust any unsolicited communication at face value anymore. You really can't. And we'll talk about that more as we continue the live stream here. But regarding these Social Security scams, a popular one is a phone call. You get a phone call, the person on the other end claims to be from Social Security, but it's actually a scammer. And a lot of times they'll say that there's an issue with your account. Maybe they need to verify your banking information to send you a payment, or they're saying that you owe money and you have to make a payment. Right? There's some kind of issue that they'll say needs to be resolved. And that's pretty common when you receive a phone call from these scammers. And the phone might show Social Security's number and name on caller ID as well. So keep that in mind. Just because your caller ID might say it's Social Security, that doesn't mean it is. Scammers can manipulate that. And we'll talk about that more too. But the example of a Social Security impersonation scam that we're going to be sharing with you this evening here, and our first example of the night, is actually an email that's impersonating Social Security. And I'm going to show you two versions of this email here. Right? And the first one is how, it's actually all the same email, but the first view is how it looks on your mobile device. And it's a little harder to tell that it's a scam on a mobile device because the email address is hidden here. See the from address, it just says Department of, or you'd actually have to click on the from address to see what it actually says and who it's from. And then you have the email here, and it says, get your information now, get your new information now. To see your statement, please download the file from this link. All right, and then it looks like there's a link to ssa.gov, which would be Social Security's website. But the link's fake. It actually points somewhere else. Just because it says it's to ssa.gov, that doesn't mean it is. It can actually still point somewhere else. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this email that's impersonating Social Security, it continues to say, we hope you find your new statement useful and informative. Thank you for using the Social Security Administration's services. Please do not reply to this email. We are unable to respond to messages. Right. So this is how the scam email might look on your phone. It's a little harder to detect that it's a scam, but you have to be suspicious, especially anything involving Social Security. You never want to click links in an email or a text message that you weren't expecting from someone. Right. But let's look into this email a little bit more. Right. Let's actually see what it looked like on a computer. And on a computer, you can see a lot more. All right, so first of all, right off the bat, it's the same email, but you notice the email address is actually from safaricom.co.ke, which seems to be an email address in Kenya. Right? It's not even a .gov email address. So right off the bat, you notice, wait a minute, this isn't Social Security. This doesn't look right. Okay, so that's the first giveaway that this is fake. And then when you move the mouse over the link, the one that looks like it points to ssa.gov. When you actually look at where it really points, it's to some random website, right? Some random website, just numbers and letters. It doesn't actually point to ssa.gov. And you could tell that by hovering the mouse over the link, not clicking it, but hovering over. So it becomes much clearer that this is a scam when you look at it on a computer. All right, but as you can see, this is an example of an email that's impersonating Social Security. Right? They're trying to direct you to a fake website, trying to make you think that it's ssa.gov. And in this case, it would download some malware on your device. All right, so you never want to click that link. And this is a scam that's it's circulating a lot. It's starting to get a little bit of media attention. There was an article about this in the Ridgewood blog recently posted, and Scamware 101 was happy to contribute. We actually sent this screenshot of the example over for their article, so they included that in the article. But this one's circulating. So be aware of these Social Security impersonation scams, whether it's an email, a phone call. They're around. That's the first scam that we're going to talk about this evening. We have a lot more coming up. We got at least 19 or 20 more. So stay tuned and let me know if you received that email. I always like hearing from our viewers if they received any of the same examples that we're sharing, if they've noticed them or heard about them. It takes a village. I like to say that because it really does. You need to keep the community aware of this and keep your neighbor protected and aware of this. So let me know you're watching. Say hi in the chat. I see some people popping up here on Facebook now. We're streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So hit that like button, that follow button, that subscribe button. And we're going to be going for another 2, 3, maybe even 4 hours this evening. We'll see how it goes. But we got lots of scam examples to share with you and warn you about so you can protect yourself and your loved ones from these scams. Make sure to join our free mailing list, scamaware101.com, and then hit join mailing list. We're trying to put something good out there, and that's it. That's our goal, just spread awareness of these scams. Scammers are winning. We're tired of hearing about the scammers winning, and we're trying to at least maybe put a little dent. Do our part by spreading awareness. On that note, let's talk about our next scam here. And staying on the theme of government impersonation, we just talked about Social Security impersonation scams, but now let's talk about tax and IRS impersonation scams. These always pick up more during tax season, and this tax season was no different. We saw a lot of these popping up, and basically these IRS impersonation scams is similar to the Social Security impersonation scams that we just talked about. You have to be aware that you're being targeted through email, phone calls, text messages. These scammers, when it comes to tax and IRS impersonation, they're using all the methods to reach you. All right. So basically, fraudsters impersonate tax authorities, and they claim that you owe taxes and must pay immediately to avoid penalty or arrest. All right. Or sometimes they'll say there's an issue with your account. Right. And other times they'll say that you're entitled to a refund, and they need your banking information to give it to you. All right. So that's a tricky one that they use too. So you have to keep your guard up anything involving the IRS or taxes. All right. And the example that we're going to share with you this evening is actually a text message that impersonates the IRS. And this example was actually shared this year by the IRS, warning us about this text message. All right, so if you receive this text message, be aware that it's a scam. The IRS specifically warned us about it. And you can see this text message. It says, Internal Revenue Service, IRS. You are eligible to receive a $1,400 economic impact payment. Please provide your accurate personal information. We will deposit the amount into your bank account or mail a paper check within 1 to 2 business days. And then it has a link to a fake website to visit. Right, but that link's going to steal any details you enter. And the idea is it's going to probably ask you for your bank account details, right? Because you think you're going to get a refund. So you get all excited, you click the link, you enter in your banking details. You're actually giving it away to a scammer. And that's how this scam works. Something to take note of on this text message here at the bottom, there's an instruction. And it says, please reply with yes and exit and reopen the message. That's a red flag. Right? A lot of scammers like to include that instruction at the bottom of their scam text messages. So just be alert when you see that at the bottom of a text where it says, please reply yes, and then reopen the message. So, but anyway, be rest assured that if you get a text message claiming that you're eligible to receive a $1,400 economic impact payment, it's a scam. The IRS specifically said it's a scam. They said that there is no $1,400 economic impact payment. And if there was, they wouldn't be sending text messages about it. All right. So be alert. Don't fall for these IRS and tax impersonation scams. They always pick up more during tax season, but still good to be aware of. Hey Dave, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you, man. We got the other stream going too, not just the vertical, but we got the vertical, the wide on YouTube, and then we have our Instagram and Facebook ones going too. Which, by the way, anybody watching on Instagram and Facebook, say hi, let us know you're watching. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like button. Make sure to follow and subscribe. Help spread awareness about these scams. That's free. It's free to like and follow, right? It's free to like and follow, share, invite people in. Let's get some more people in here into this live stream. The next scam we're going to talk about here tax forgiveness scams. This is when fraudsters impersonate accountants offering tax forgiveness services, but they failed to provide the service. Really, in most cases, this type of scam, they're just trying to steal your personal details, maybe get your information so they could actually steal your tax return or file for other government services. It's basically a way to steal your identity, or at least your financial details, right? And you have to be careful with these tax forgiveness scams. They always pick up again during the tax season, but they're actually circulating now. We're still getting reports of them now. And how they work is you get these phone calls, and they usually say something scary like you owe back taxes, and you only have a week to get back to us. And they try to get you to call them back, but it's a scam. You don't want to fall for it. And we actually have a recording of one of these voicemails to play for you right now. So let's take a listen. And this is a tax forgiveness phone call. It's circulating. Let me know in the comments in the chat if you received this phone call at all or similar. And I'm actually going to play 2 versions, but here, let me get the first one. Here's the first example.
Hi, this is Lindsay Carter from the Activation Department. Give me a call back at 833-850-2527. Our records indicate you have some back taxes owed. You're now eligible to apply for them to be forgiven with the Zero Tax Balance Program. Any back owed taxes can be enrolled to be forgiven through this program. But we do need to sign up this week. Just give me a call so we can start the process. It's really quick. And I'll keep your file open here. So my number is 833-850-2527. If you've already resolved this, call back and press 2 to be removed. Can't wait to speak with you. 2.
So that's one phone call you might get. And multiple people reported that phone call to me. It's an extremely common phone call. It's circulating. And it starts off with something scary right away. It starts off by saying, you owe back taxes, right? So right away, it's using fear to scare people. And here's the catch. Everybody's getting this phone call, whether you owe back taxes or not, right? So it's actually scary to someone that doesn't, because they're thinking, what do I do? File my taxes wrong? And the thing is, they make it sound like a real person, too, on that voice call. It's shady. They're like, we have your file on our desk. I know you don't. You're recording. So don't fall for that. The next example that I'm going to share with you here is actually, this one's funny too. It's offering the tax forgiveness as well. They have to watch out for. And it impersonates they try to make it sound like it's a person who's asking your questions, and then there's pauses, like as if there's a person listening to you, right? They're trying to make you think that it's not recording. So they use these shady tactics. Here, let me play this one for you.
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you now. My name is Anthony. I'm actually one of the assistants to the director for the National Tax Relief Program. How you doing? Great. So listen, I've personally been tasked with reaching out to make sure you received information about a brand new federally approved program designed to help people who may be dealing with tax debt. It's called the Tax Dismissal Program. It's something that's helped thousands of people reduce or sometimes even completely eliminate what they owe to the IRS. Can I ask you, do you currently owe any back taxes at the moment? Okay. Do you have any unfiled tax years or any unpaid back balances? Okay, great. Let me get you this updated information. You're just going to hear a brief recording.
Okay, so this special program has been recently approved as of June.
Yeah, so I'm going to pause it there. But you see what's interesting about that one is it impersonates a person. They ask you a question, right? But then they pause for a few seconds, and he's like, okay, I got it. But it's not a real person. They're just trying to use shady tactics. And then after, like 30 seconds or whatever, it goes, okay, I'm going to play a message for you. All right, so don't trust these fraudsters using these shady tricks, these tax forgiveness scams. You get so many of these calls during tax season. Don't fall for them. If you think you're entitled to some kind of tax forgiveness, reach out to an actual accountant. Right? Reach out to an actual accountant. And there's no reason to deal with these shady scammers that are calling you out of the blue and using these deceiving tactics, Let me know in the comments in the chat if you received any of these calls. I know some of you did. Being all quiet out there. I know you did. Let me know in the chats and the comments here. This next scam that we're going to talk about, it hasn't gotten much attention actually, so I do like talking about this one. It's pretty clever. I've just been calling it a discount scam or a fake promotion scam that uses gift cards. Right? The idea of the scam is they try to trick their victim into purchasing a gift card as a part of some kind of promotion. Right? And it all starts out with one of these phone calls that impersonate usually your internet provider. In this case, an example I'm going to share with you is going to be a one that impersonates a Comcast rep. Right? You get this phone call and they're impersonating Comcast. So let me play this phone call for you first, and I'll explain more how this scam works. All right, so.
Hello. This voicemail is from Comcast Xfinity. Your current 50% discount on your monthly bill will expire by the end of the day. To maintain your reduced rate, call the number on your caller ID immediately. This is your final reminder to act. Call back now. Thank you.
Right, so you get this phone call. It's impersonating Comcast, and it tries to scare you by saying that your 50% discount is going to expire. Right, so right off the bat, they're trying to cause fear and urgency by making you think, wow, my bill's going to double. Right, oh shoot, my Comcast bill's going to double. What's going on here? And then they say, call back the number. I believe this one says, call back the number on the screen instead of even leaving a real number, which is always a red flag. But the idea is they're trying to trick the target into calling back that number. Right, and that the victim thinks that they're talking to Comcast. They think they're talking to their internet provider, but they're not. It's a scam. All right, I'll go into scam a little bit more. Oh, hey, Katie, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. It's been a few weeks. Glad you can make it. Oh, you received a tax scam several weeks back, saying it might have been taxes and hung up right away. Yep, that's a very common one. Thank you for sharing with the chat and letting us know. Yep. The tax forgiveness scams, they're circulating those phone calls. I've got many different versions of them too. Many people reporting them. So, but good to see you. Welcome back, Katie. Thanks. So these fake promotion scams, again, so you get these phone calls, and in this case it impersonates Comcast. But really, I'm sure there's other versions that are impersonating all different internet providers, right? But the idea is the victim calls up, and they think they're talking to Comcast. And the scammer says, your promotion is expiring. Right, today it expires. Your bill's going to double because of it expiring. Right, but we have a promotion going on with Target, the store Target, and if you pay with a Target gift card, right, we'll give you that promotional price. So what we need you to do is we need you to go over to Target or Apple. We'll take Apple gift cards, whatever gift card the scammer might be trying to get from you. They'll say go over to Target and you purchase a $500 gift card, and then you give us that gift card, and we'll apply it to your account you get the promo price that you paid with the Target gift card. Right? But what they're doing is they're trying to trick the victim into purchasing a $500 gift card and sending it over to the scammers. Right? They think they're sending it over to Comcast. They're actually sending it over to scammers. Right? And then the next month comes to get their bill. Maybe they don't even realize that anything changed because their bill just looks the same as always. Right? But yeah, so it's a little clever trick to try and get these gift cards from victims. Whenever you hear about a gift card, it should trigger a red flag or a stop sign in your head. So be alert, and we're going to talk about these gift card scams more. And again, just because the example I shared with you is Comcast, I'm sure there's different variations. Maybe they're impersonating Verizon and then Optum Online and everybody else that's out there, right? So it goes back to, you have to hang up and confirm. Let's say you get one of these calls and they say, call back number on screen. Right? No, don't call back the number on screen. Instead, if you want, go home, check your bill, and call Comcast directly. All right? You can't trust anything at face value anymore. You can't trust phone calls that leave you a number to call back. You can't trust that number. It's a scammer leaving you a fake number to call. So you always need to verify. It's no different with this type of scam. So watch out for these phone calls that impersonate Comcast. I actually got a couple different variations of that call. In fact, you know what? I'll play one more for you. Here's another version of that call. It's very similar, right, but it's the same idea. There.
Hello, this voicemail is from Comcast Xfinity. This is an urgent reminder that your 50% discount on monthly bill will disappear by midnight if we don't hear from you. Please call back up the number showing on your caller ID immediately to keep your savings. Thank you. To replay this message, press 1.
Right, so that's just another version of it. Same idea. It says call back the number, your Comcast. Your 50% Comcast discount's going to expire. And it's just another way to try and trick you into purchasing a gift card provided to a scammer. So be aware of that one. It's pretty clever. I started receiving this one myself a couple months ago, so it is fairly new as far as I know. Important to be aware of. How we all doing out there? Welcome to the live stream. Next up, we're going to go over some red flags to be aware of. We've got plenty more common scams coming up too, but we're going to take 15 minutes to go over some red flags to help you identify a scammer or recognize if someone you love is dealing with a scammer and needs to stop. And by the way, a lot of these scams that we're talking about, hey, John Capone, welcome to the live stream over on Facebook. Good to see you. Thank you for commenting. Welcome. I think I remember your name before, so I should say welcome back. So you're just in time for some red flags here. And a lot of the scams that we talk about and the red flags we're about ready to go over, we actually have videos on our YouTube channel about these scams. So you go check out our YouTube channel. You can find the video, you can share it with a loved one. Like these red flags that we're about ready to go over, we have a video that uses all the same slides in them, right? So you could go share that video with a loved one. But what's important about these red flags, oh, and by the way, we're going to be streaming for another 2-3 hours probably. So still time to invite more people here. Hit that like button. Let's get some more people over here in the live stream. Spread some awareness about these scams. But anyway, let me continue about these red flags here. So we did a video about these 5 red flags. And the thing about these red flags is when you hear the victim's stories, a lot of times these red flags pop up. Right? And if the victim was aware of these red flags, it might have been enough to stop the scam. All right. So we compiled this list of 5 red flags, and soon we'll be coming out with a video with another 5. But these top 5 red flags are a good indicator that you're dealing with a scammer. And if you run into any of them, you should really stop, reanalyze the situation, get some advice from someone, talk to someone, and rethink what's going on here. Because chances are you're dealing with a scammer if you run into any of these red flags that we're about ready to discuss right now. So let's talk about red flag number 1. Right, you're talking to a stranger, right, and they direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Right. So the thing about this red flag is that scammers love to get their victims communicating on third-party chat apps like Telegram or WhatsApp because it's easier for them to communicate with victims in other countries, and it also offers more anonymity for the scammer to hide behind. Right. So oftentimes the scammer will initiate the scam through a traditional method like a phone call or text message or email. But as they establish a communication, they'll usually try to get the victim to continue the conversation on Telegram or WhatsApp. And some scams where that's part of the playbook is romance scams, right? You'll be on a dating website and they use these fake dating profiles to lure in new victims. Then once they start communicating with their victims on the website, they'll try to get them to continue the conversation over on WhatsApp. Scammers do this a lot using dating websites and finding romance scam victims. Right, so the red flag is they ask you to keep talking on WhatsApp. Wrong number scams, which we're going to actually be talking about a little later. That's when these scammers, they send text messages to random phone numbers and they're looking for victims to reply. And they try to befriend the victim once they reply, and then they say, let's continue talking on WhatsApp. Right? They try to get them off onto the third-party chat app. And there's investment scams. And a lot of times they'll The scammers direct victims to Telegram groups or WhatsApp groups to pump up an investment or appear more legit. All right, so it's always a red flag when you're talking to a stranger online or like trying to get you into Telegram or WhatsApp. So be aware of that red flag and don't fall for it. Let's take a look at red flag number 2 here. Actually, let me check the chat. Hey, Katie. Why is the membership on your YouTube so expensive? Is it? I thought there was like a $4 or $5 one there. Let me know if it's not there. Let's take a look at red flag number 2. They request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, and depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. Right, so that's a big red flag, and they run into that a lot when it comes to these scams. Oh, interesting. I'll check it out. I'll look into the membership. I thought I'd put like a $5 one there, but I guess not. I'll look into it. Thanks for letting me know. But gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, always a red flag. And that's one you need to be aware of for sure. It's still pretty common. You know, scammers using other payment methods now. But when it comes to gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, always red flags. Especially with the Bitcoin ATM. They try to get you to deposit money into Bitcoin ATM. And the reasons why scammers prefer these types of payment is because it's easier for them to transfer the funds quickly, and it's harder for victims to recover the money after it's sent. It's always a red flag when they request these types of payment. Yeah, I'm going to put up there so I'm just answering people into chat about the comments here, about the memberships. Yeah, I'm going to add a cheaper one for like $5 probably. Yeah, the higher one, the more expensive one, my plan with that one is I'm going to start doing some paid webinars, offering paid webinars. And what I'll do is the higher up membership, I'm just going to include access to those live webinars as part of that membership too. So that's why I got the higher one there. Got some ideas for it. But yeah, I'll put a lower one up there. I thought I'd put like just like a $5 one just to get one there. But I'll do that. Thanks for letting me know. So these unusual forms of payment, right? Prepaid cards and gift cards, retail gift cards, Apple gift cards, Target gift cards, right? That's what we mean when we say gift cards. And cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, we see this a lot when in government impersonation scams, right? We talked about IRS impersonation and Social Security impersonation scams. A lot of times those scammers, they'll try to ask you for payment in gift cards or cryptocurrency. And that's always a red flag because as of right now, government agencies do not accept gift cards or cryptocurrency. So if you're talking to anybody on the phone or communicating in some other way and they're asking you to pay with cryptocurrency or gift cards to some government agency, it's a scam. Don't trust it. Right? Romance scams. We know scammers, they often request gift cards and cryptocurrency from their victims, right? Because they know that if the victims ever realize that they're dealing with a scammer, they can't get that cryptocurrency or gift cards back, right? So that's why scammers prefer getting paid in that way. Romance scams. We got the bank impersonation scams. A lot of times these scammers, they trick victims into withdrawing money and purchasing gift cards. And they convince the victims, we'll talk about it more later in the live stream, but they convince the victims to do this by making them think their money isn't safe in their account. You know, scammers got access to your account. You need to transfer and move the money. So always a red flag when you're talking to somebody and they're telling you to purchase prepaid cards, gift cards, things like that. Red flag number 3. By the way, let me know, like everything else, let me know in the chats and the comments if you run into these. If you know someone that's fallen for these. There was a good report the other day on CNN. It was last week about Bitcoin ATMs. It was a good report. Dave sent me over the link. Appreciate that, Dave. Yeah, it was a good article about Bitcoin ATMs. And how even when what was concerning about that report too was even though police were able to get the money out of the ATM before it ever got provided to the ATM companies, the ATM companies would just sue and they'd actually get the money back from the police. So even though it was ripped off and it was money that was scammed out of somebody, the ATM companies still sue and get it back. It's crazy, unfortunately. I mean, The ATM companies, they're I don't know, I feel like their hands might be kind of tied, without adding some kind of delay to the transaction for days. But anyway, there was an interesting article about, or interesting report about that on CNN the other day. So go check that out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. But it was about Bitcoin ATMs. It was like maybe a 10 or 15-minute segment. It was interesting. But anyway, let's keep talking about red flags here. And this next red flag that we're going to talk about is they ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone by a text message. And now this is actually a common scam. And we see it a lot on marketplace type websites, right? Where they'll impersonate a buyer or a seller. And a lot of times they'll say they just want to confirm your phone number. Right? They'll say, I'm going to send a code to your phone. I want to confirm that's real. Send that code back to me. But what they're actually doing is they're trying to create an account attached to your phone, or log into an account attached to your phone, or reset your password. They're trying to do something malicious that's linked to your phone. And if you provide that code back to them, you're allowing them to do whatever malicious activity they're trying to do. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about this malicious activity and what they could be trying to do. All right, they could be trying to log into one of your accounts. And that's why you're getting this code. So by providing this code back to them, you're allowing them to log into one of your accounts, maybe a bank account, for example, or any other account that might be linked to your phone number. All right, they might be trying to reset one of your passwords to get access to an account. All right, so as a security measure, you're getting a code that's warning you, hey, someone's trying to reset your password. Or you give that code back to them, you're letting them reset your password, access your accounts. All right, but then, and this is probably the most common, is a scam like is a Google Voice scam or similar. And what they're doing is they're trying to create a Google Voice account using your phone number. And by linking it to your phone, they could use it for more fraudulent activity. Right? They get a free phone number as part of creating an account, then use a phone number to scam more people, and it's linked to your phone number because you allowed them to do it by providing the code. Right? So it's always a big red flag if someone you're dealing with is saying they're going to send a code to your phone and they ask you to provide it back. Right? Don't trust it. Ask them if there's some other way. That's probably a scam. So that's red flag number 3. Watch out for it. How are we all doing this evening? We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We do this live stream every week. Help spread awareness of scams. So hit that like button, follow, subscribe. You join our free mailing list, scamware101.com. Hit join mailing list. We'll send out some reminders when we're going live and just some other useful scam awareness tips. We don't send that many emails out. Really, we won't bombard you with spam, I promise. So scamware101.com. Hit join mailing list for you to join. Follow us on all your favorite social media platforms: YouTube, Blue Sky, X, Facebook, Threads, Instagram. And we have memberships and super thanks enabled over on YouTube. Oh, wow. And just as I said that, it looks like Katie signed up for one. Awesome. Thank you, Katie. Wow, you're the first official member, actually. Welcome aboard. You're member number 1. Very cool. Thanks for joining. I have to see what I put for bronze support. I know you get a shout out, and I want to see if I could add anything else to it. I couldn't think of much to offer, supporters. So if you think of things, let me know. I'm happy to figure out ways to make the supporters more attractive for signups. But thank you very much, Katie. Very cool. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. So let's talk about red flag number 4. They ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Right? So scammers love to get access to your device because they can actually extract a lot of your logins and passwords that you might have saved. They get onto your device, they install a piece of software, and boom, any passwords you had saved in Chrome or your other browsers, they're able to extract them. A lot of other software you might have passwords on, they're able to extract from your cookies, things like that. They could encrypt your files, hold them for ransom, blackmail you if you have stuff you don't want released. And they'll try to access your bank accounts too. Once they're on your device, a lot of times they'll try to walk you through logging into your bank accounts. You don't realize it's a scammer, and they trick you into logging into your bank accounts to check for malicious activity. But they're actually on your device, and they're stealing your credentials and checking out how much money you got in the bank. So you never want to let anybody you don't know onto your device. And once you let them on, you don't know what they did. They can install software that gives them access anytime they want, whether you're there or not. All right. So let's talk about some scams where it's part of the playbook to ask for access to your device. All right. So you get the fake virus alerts or tech support scams. And we're going to talk about this one in a little bit. But these tech support scams is when the scammer impersonates tech support, assisting with a virus, right? And the first thing they do is ask for access to your PC to help, supposedly to help, right? But this all scam, it's all a trick to get onto your device. We got the fake order scams. We're going to talk about these in a little bit too. And that's when you get notified about a fake order, and the scammer says, let me connect your machine, and I'll take a look at what you say. All right, let me connect your device. But once they're on, then they have access to all your files, your device. And you have the fake fraudulent activity, right? And that's when they impersonate an agency investigating fraud. It might be the bank or maybe even a government agency. They claim that they're investigating fraud, right? And they'll say, let's take a look at your bank accounts. Let me connect your device. Or they'll say, someone's stolen your identity. Let me scan your device to see if there's anything malicious there. Right? These are all tricks to try and get onto your device. Don't let them. Right? You want to be very careful about who you let on your device, especially when it comes to a first time, like tech support. Make sure you're actually dealing with the real tech support. Never call phone numbers that just randomly pop up. We'll talk about this more in a little bit. And really, when it comes to letting people on your device, this is what I advise everyone, right? In your mind already, you should know who deals with your computer problems, right? Just like a lot of people, they already have a mechanic in mind who deals with their car. You should already have someone in mind who helps with your computer, whether it's that family member that's good with your computer and electronics, or maybe the tech support guy at work, right? Or maybe it's the computer shop down the street, right? But the point is, you should already have someone in mind that's going to assist you with computer issues, someone you know and you trust, and that's probably helped you before in the past, right? This way, if something happens where you think you need support, instead of letting a stranger on, reach out to the person that you know and trust and already helps you with your computer. Reach out to your computer guy or girl, all right? So that's my advice when it comes to letting people onto your PC. And I understand sometimes there's situations where you have to deal with third-party support, and those situations, just make sure that you're dealing with the real support company, right? Make sure you're actually calling the right phone number, confirm through official channels. Be aware. These scammers, they impersonate tech support, they impersonate customer service, and they trick you to call them. So be aware. We'll be talking more about those scams in a little bit. But anyway, that's red flag number 4. They try to connect to your PC or device to assist or investigate an issue. Thanks so much, Kay. I appreciate that so much. Kay says, this channel is worth the support. Do a 3-month, 6-month, or 1 year and up shout out. Oh, can I do that? I didn't know they let you do 3 or 6 months. All right, I'll have to look into that, see if that option is there. I didn't realize they let you do that. You might offer discounts on merchandise. Oh, that's a good idea too. Great ideas, Katie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good stuff. In fact, wait 1 second. I'm going to screenshot those suggestions. This way I have them for later. Bear with me 1 second, then we'll get on to red flag number 5. All right, very cool. All right, red flag number 5. Again, we have a video about all these red flags, so if you want to go review these slides later or share these with a loved one, we have the video on our YouTube channel, so you can go check that out and share it. So red flag number 5 is they request that you keep the matter confidential or secret, right? So it's extremely common for scammers to ask for confidentiality. They don't want you to discuss the situation with other people, because the more people you talk to, the more likely you'll be told it's a scam. Right? So they'll think of, the scammer will think of all these little excuses and stories and clever reasons why you shouldn't tell anybody. But it's important to realize that that's part of the scam. And some examples where it's part of the playbook to ask for confidential or secret. Right, grandparent scams. We'll talk about this one a little bit too. But it's when they say a relative, son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter's been arrested, needs help, right? But they'll say your relative's embarrassed and ask you not to tell anybody, right? So that's kind of a red flag right there. That's the request for secrecy. And you would think it would make sense, right? It would be a fair request if the situation was true, but it's not. And that's why they're saying this. They're trying to trick you into not talking to anybody about it, at least until after they have your money. Investment scams, they'll tell you it's an inside tip and not to tell anybody, or a price is just for you and not to tell anyone. Right? But that's all part of the scam. They just don't want you to tell anyone. Inheritance scams, and we're going to show you an example of this. They'll actually mail physical letters, snail mail letters, impersonating law offices regarding a fake inheritance. And the letter will request confidentiality. And we'll show you an example later of that. The fake fraudulent activity, right? When the scammers impersonate a bank or agency investigating fraud, this one's clever. They'll say that since it's an active investigation, not to tell anybody. Don't tell the bank teller, right? Because they might be under investigation or part of it. So you can't tell the bank teller what's going on. You can't tell anybody what's going on. You got to keep it secret. If you tell anybody, we're gonna hold you responsible for impeding an investigation, for interfering, right? So it can be scary, but it's all just a trick to try and keep you quiet. So that's red flag number 5. They request you to keep the matter confidential or secret. And I'll show you some more examples of that as we go through some more scam examples on the live stream. So if you're just joining, welcome to the live stream. Say hi in the chat. Leave a comment. Let me know you're watching. I see Tweet Girl over on Instagram if you're still there. Good to see you, Tweet Girl, or Tweety Girl. Welcome. Thank you for joining and watching. Hope you're still there. Got some people over on Facebook. I see the viewer count going up. So say hi in the chat and the comments. Let me know what scams you're being targeted with. Let me know you found me. Found us over at Scamware 101. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow. Help us spread awareness about these scams. So the 5 red flags that we just went over, just to summarize for you real quick in case you joined us a little late. Right, red flag number 1, they direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Right, they always want to get you into a third-party chat app. It's easier for them to communicate with scammers and or with their victims, and to do what they need to do across the globe. Right, so watch out for any requests to continue a conversation on Telegram or WhatsApp. Payment, they request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Go into Bitcoin ATM. Right, all red flags. Be aware and suspicious of those requests. We know scammers love to receive gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency. All right, so big red flag. Red flag number 3, they provide a code to your phone and they want you to send it back. It's a common scam. Individuals shouldn't be sending codes to phones and asking people to send it back. It's a big red flag. Don't trust it. And red flag number 4, they ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Only let trusted people onto your PC. Scammers, it's a gold mine to them to get onto your device. So, guard your device. Don't let anybody, you don't know, onto it. And then red flag number 5, they request that you keep the matter confidential or secret. Right? They want you to keep quiet. They don't want you talking to people. You talk to people, they'll tell you it's a scam. So they want you to keep it quiet. They'll make up excuses and reasons for you not to talk or tell anybody. But in reality, it's a red flag. You should be aware of it. So that's it. Those are 5 red flags that you're dealing with a scammer. Again, we did a video about that. We have the same slides on our YouTube channel. So go share that video with a loved one that needs it. And again, those red flags are so important to know because as we hear these victim stories, which we're going to talk about more tonight, is you hear the victim stories, right? And they mention these things. And if they had known or realized it was a red flag, it might have made the difference. All right. Yeah, so Dave mentions he gets those Telegram texts for Bitcoin investments or job offers. Yeah, I get a lot of the in the job offers. Almost every job offer text message I get, the scam job offers, almost everyone ends with call us on WhatsApp at this number. Right, so it's always a red flag when they're requesting you to use WhatsApp. Let's see here, 6:40. Let me just update the agenda here a little bit. We have a lot more lined up for this evening. Say hi in the chat. Let me know you're watching. So we're going to go over 2 more scams take a quick 5-minute coffee break, and then we're going to go over another big batch of common scams. So we got lots of good stuff coming up here this evening. There's still plenty of time to invite a friend, get them over to the live stream here. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe. It all helps. We appreciate it all. We need to get our followers up on Facebook. I think you have to hit 500 to finally get some kind of monetization on Facebook. So we're only at 200 and something. So we're not even halfway there yet. So we could definitely use some more followers on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, help us out. Hit that follow button. If you happen to have a Facebook account, hop on in there, hit follow, and then you don't have to use Facebook again, but we could use the follow. We appreciate it. And of course, it always helps on Instagram too. Make sure to join our free mailing list, scamware101.com. We'll just send out reminders when we're going live and some other useful scam awareness tips. We don't send you too many emails. You can unsubscribe at any time, but yeah, we don't abuse the privilege. I don't think you'll unsubscribe. All right, well, let's continue some more of these scams here. The next scam we're going to talk about is arrest warrant scams. We did a video about this one, so important to be aware of this. An arrest warrant scam is when a victim is contacted by a scammer impersonating law enforcement. The scammer claims an arrest warrant was issued or will be issued, and fines must be paid to resolve it. The scammer then threatens the victim with arrest if fines aren't paid immediately. All right, and a lot of times they'll say that you missed jury duty. All right, so sometimes you'll hear this referred to as a jury duty scam. All right, they'll say you missed jury duty and they're going to issue a warrant unless you pay fines immediately. All right, and they'll be pretty threatening. They'll say they're going to send deputies over right away. We're going to have them knocking on your door. All right, so someone could get pretty scared by this. These scammers have also been known to provide fake paperwork. Right, they'll offer to email you fake paperwork that looks like it's a warrant for your arrest or a claim against you. And when you receive these phone calls, this is another good example of these scammers are known to show the police department's name and number on the caller ID. So when they're impersonating the local sheriff's office, they'll show the sheriff's office's phone number on caller ID. Very important to be aware of that. So many people, they fall for these scams because of the caller ID. They thought that they could trust the caller ID. It said the sheriff's office on the caller ID. I thought it was a sheriff. It said the bank on the caller ID. I thought it was the bank, but it's not. It's a scam, and these scammers, they're capable of doing that. So that's why you can't trust caller ID. You can't trust calls anymore at first face value. You have to hang up and you have to verify through official channels, especially in these cases, these arrest warrant scams. And what you do is you just say, what's the issuing organization, right? And then you hang up. And if you're concerned it's real, reach out directly through official channels. Call the real phone number of whatever sheriff's department or law enforcement agency they were impersonating. But you can't trust it. Don't be scared over the phone into just paying immediately. And this isn't how arrest warrants are handled anyway. Police aren't going to call you. They're going to show up and try to arrest you if a warrant's being. They're not going to call you and be all, pay us some fines and we'll forget it. It doesn't work that way. It wouldn't be the police calling for the payment anyhow. So you get a call, claiming there's an arrest warrant. Don't trust it. Be suspicious. Lots of warnings about this one coming out of local law enforcement. The scammers impersonating law enforcement, and law enforcement doesn't like that, right? So there has been a decent amount of media attention about this scam and warnings about this scam. So be aware of it and don't fall for it. Even if the caller ID says it's the police department, the sheriff's office, we know that the scammers are doing that. So you have to hang up and verify. You can't just trust a phone call. So be aware of that one. How we all doing out there? Let me know you're watching. Say hi in the chat, comments. Give us a like, a thumbs up, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We need all the help we could get. So next scam we're going to talk about here, bank impersonation scams. Very important to be aware of this one. This is another example of we know that these scammers, when they're calling on the phone, we know that caller ID they'll show the bank's phone number. All right, so just because you're caller ID says your bank's name, the bank's phone number. It doesn't mean you can trust it. All right, so basically these scammers, they impersonate the bank, and they usually claim their suspicious activity was detected under your account. Victims are then tricked into withdrawing and transferring funds to the scammers that were impersonating their bank. Again, the caller ID might even display the bank's phone number, even though it's a scammer. We're going to spend a few minutes on this one here because this one's important. There's another example where we're being targeted over the phone. We're being targeted through text message. We're being targeted with emails that claim to be from your bank, trying to get you to click on fake links and provide banking information. We really are being targeted from all directions when it comes to these bank impersonation scams. And in some cases, the scammer might know what bank you have already, right? Because unfortunately, our information, these scammers know a lot about us already because of third-party data breaches and information that's been leaked from third parties that we've dealt with, right? So a lot of times they might already know what bank you have and what bank to impersonate. So you need to be suspicious of any communication claiming to be from the bank. You need to hang up, call the bank directly, look at the back of your card and call the bank directly. Again, even if the caller ID matches the number on the back of your card, doesn't mean you could trust it. You got to hang up and call back your bank directly. But let's talk a little bit more about these bank impersonation scams. I'm going to show you an example here too. So the example on my screen is a text message scam that impersonates TD Bank. And before we talk more about this text message, there's a story that comes along with it. The person who provided this example to me, before they received this text message, they received a phone call. All right, so immediately before receiving this text message, they get a phone call. The caller ID shows TD Bank, right? And they don't answer the phone call, right? But the scammer tried calling them first. The caller ID did say TD Bank. And then when they didn't answer, the scammer sent this text message that impersonates TD Bank. And by the way, the person who provided this to me, they used TD Bank. So there's a chance the scammer might have known what bank to impersonate too. Right, so they tried with a phone call, then they followed up with a text message. And let me read this text message to you, because it might not always happen with a phone call first. They might just hit you with these text messages too. But the idea is I want you to understand how persistent these scammers could be. They'll call you first, they'll send a text message, your caller ID will show TD Bank called, right? The text message you get will say it's TD Bank. So you have to be suspicious. But the text message says, verify TD Bank card activity. Did you attempt a transaction for $250 at Walgreens? Reply yes if recognized or no if not. All right, and this is a scam. The idea is the scammer wants you to reply no, right? Because you didn't make any transaction at Walgreens. Right, so the scammer wants you to reply no, and eventually they're going to try to get you on the phone. Eventually they're going to call you, or they're going to say, call this number, right? And they're going to say, there's suspicious activity under your account, and they're going to go into the whole narrative. Eventually they're probably going to try to get you to withdraw the money and transfer it to them somehow. Withdraw the money, purchase gift cards, withdraw the money, deposit Bitcoin ATM. They might try to have you send them money in Zelle, right? Zelle does have limits on it, but they can still usually get a couple $1,000s out of you with Zelle. Right, and they'll tell you it's because somebody has access to your account. They'll say, look, somebody's using your account. They went to Walgreens. So your money's not safe. You need to withdraw it and move it. And send it over to this account. Right, but that's how the scam works. And again, you'll get these calls, and they'll have the bank's phone number, the bank's name there. Doesn't mean you can trust them. So be alert for these bank impersonation scams. And we do have a victim's story here to share with you about this scam as well. A young Connecticut woman had her bank account drained by scammers after answering trusted Wells Fargo number. How to spot and avoid similar schemes. Right, and in her case, she said she did everything they said to do, and they literally drained my bank account. Because again, this is why awareness is so important. These scammers, they want to take everything you have, right? They're not just after $100. They're not just trying to get you to trick you into losing a little bit of money. They're trying to take everything you have. They're trying to get into your bank account and clear you out. Every bank account. And in her case, she says, I got a call from a Wells Fargo number, right? From Wells Fargo, even though it wasn't, it was a scammer, saying that I had a fraudulent activity on my account and that a random person was being sent money from Zelle. They told me to go into my account and that I needed to secure my Zelle on my end by sending money that would go back into my account right away. So there's an example of a bank impersonation scam. And what they did is they tricked her into transferring money with Zelle. All right, which, by the way, that's a red flag too. Scammers, or you get a phone call out of blue and they're telling you to do things with Zelle, that wouldn't happen. A bank and Zelle wouldn't be doing that with you. So that's a scammer. And one other thing to keep in mind too, just about this victim's story. You know, it's a young woman, right? She's not, isn't someone older. I want to point that out because there's this misconception that older folks are the ones that, you know, are falling for scams and need to be aware of them, which is true. Older folks need to be aware of them too, but younger people are actually falling for the scams more, right? The older folks are losing more money because they have more money saved up and put away to lose. You know, they're getting their retirement funds cleared out. But the younger folks are actually getting scammed more often. They're just not losing as much because they don't have as much to take, right? So these types of scams is important for everybody to be aware of them. The age doesn't matter. You know, these people that think that they're, oh, only the older people are falling for it. You know, that won't fool me, right? You're a perfect target. So awareness is key. And spread the word, right? So that's bank impersonation scams. Be aware of them. Anything involving the bank, you got to verify, confirm through official channels, right? No matter how much the person tells you not to, right? Because that's what scammers do. They're going to tell you, they're going to make it sound like you're part of some big investigation. You got to keep it quiet and not tell the bank when you're withdrawing the money, and you can't tell them why. Just tell them you're doing home improvements, right? They'll give you all this story and excuse, but you can't fall for it. You have to verify, confirm. So that's bank impersonation scams. This case says people could be scammed at my age. Scam baiters often are asked to send money through Zelle or Bitcoin to secure accounts. Yeah. I know younger folks, you know, a lot of times they fall for the crypto scams. They think they're getting into some kind of investment. And they're told to download an app. They don't realize they're downloading and installing a fake app. Unfortunately, those are a lot of the younger folks are falling for those types of scams. All right, everybody. So far, so good. We're wrapping up our first hour here. We got at least 2 more hours to go. So plenty of good stuff coming up. Make sure to hit that like button. Get some more people in here. Share the live stream. Let's get some more activity up in here. Make sure to share your comments, your experiences. Let me know what's happening and what you're seeing as far as scams goes and people falling for scams. We've been hearing a lot of positive news recently about these scam centers getting busted, which is nice. You know, we'll see if that makes a difference or slows anything down, but we're starting to hear about some of these places getting busted. But, you know, sadly, though, you hear like one place gets busted, but then it's like, but that's 1 out of like 30. It's like, well, so I don't know if they're just putting on a show where they just bust one place up to kind of make it look like they're doing something, or if they're actually really. I'm talking about the other countries, the countries you have to work with, you know. But it's interesting. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break here, but lots of good scams coming up. Actually, my favorite scams to talk about coming up soon here. Got some tech support scam coming up, road toll scams, fake traffic ticket scams, all common scams to be aware of that are happening now. Yeah, Katie, I get those fake job texts all the time. Like I said earlier, they always end, for me at least, they always seem to end with call us on WhatsApp, and then they have a number. All right, I'm going to take that quick 5-minute break, get recaffeinated for my people out there, stay in my best performance for you all, fill up my Scamware 101 coffee travel mug here, which is available on our YouTube store or on our merch store link on our website as well. And we'll be back in a moment, so stay tuned. Hit like, invite some more friends here. We got lots more scams to talk about this evening. All right, awesome. Yeah, Katie, I remember you bought a mug too. I'm glad to hear you like it. Very cool. Yeah, my original one, that the printing was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't dark enough. I thought, I don't know about this, but then I've got good feedback from everybody though, so it might have just been my one cup that I got. But I mean, really, it's just a way to try and raise money too, just to help support the mission here. All right, let's get started with the second portion of our live stream here. Welcome, everybody. If you're just joining us, say hi. Let us know you're watching. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're streaming on all three. We have a vertical version and a widescreen version going in our YouTube channel as well. So whichever view you prefer. And make sure to hit that like, follow, subscribe. Help support what we're doing over here at Scamware 101. And what are we doing here at Scamware 101? Well, we're trying to spread awareness of common scams that target individuals like you, your friends, your loved ones. Right? There's lots of resources out there for business and employee training. I mean, I've done 30 years, in corporate America and in the IT field, and there's lots of resources out there. And a lot of companies are doing training now for their employees. It's required by their cybersecurity insurance. And so as far as companies go, there's a lot of resources out there, right? But for individuals, who's looking out for the individuals? The retirees and the older folks out there, the scams that involve the crypto like we were just talking about, the fake trading scams, the fake job offer scams, right? These aren't things that you really get warned about in employee and business type training, right? So what we're trying to do over here at Scamware 101 is warn individuals, get the word out there about scams that target individuals, right? And as part of that mission, we do this live stream. We do it every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. We go for usually 3, sometimes 4 hours, and share all these examples of scams, some red flags to identify, and we want to get the word out there. We're also on social media, right? So you can follow us on all your favorite social media pages: Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, YouTube. And we have our free mailing list here. You can join our free mailing list at scamware101.com. So just all ways we're just trying to get the word out, right? Whether it's through these social media campaigns or these weekly live streams or the mailing list. And we do offer some services too. We'll do virtual presentations for groups, some paid services, things like that. Community centers, senior centers, HOAs. So we have some information about that on our website too. Thank you, Katie. Katie says, sadly, no one is looking out for the individual. So thanks to you and Scamware 101, people can protect themselves. Exactly. That's the way I look at it. The scam baiters are great. They find out all this information and it gets these details out there. I'm sure there's a lot to learn from them. But what I try to do is I try to take all that information and compile it into presentations and in a learning format. So they do great to get the knowledge and learning what these scammers do. And I try to take it and try to distribute it more in these live streams and create content and get the word out there more. So I'd love to get more collabs going with them, some collaborations going, and maybe some partnerships would be pretty cool. But the scam baiters get a lot of the attention. They're entertaining to watch, right? They're sitting there messing with the scammers, so they have a lot more followers, and it's pretty cool. It's a little trickier over here, I think, for me to get followers. So I'd love to maybe get some collaborations going with them. Let's see. Dave's saying, for the second time in a week, I received a call with caller ID showing PCH, Publishers Clearinghouse. Wow. I didn't answer, but a voicemail soon followed with someone wanting to talk about Medicare. Yeah. It's a hit with a couple scams at once. Probably the same people. Yeah, so Publishers Clearinghouse. So watch out for that, people. We know that scam's been around for a while, the Publishers Clearinghouse scam. It's like your typical lottery scam where they make you think that you're entitled to free prize or winnings, but usually they're going to try to trick you into paying fees and taxes on this non-existent prize. Excuse me one sec. Sorry about that. I got something in my throat. My cough again. But that's a good warning, though, Dave. Dave's warning about, the caller ID showed Publishers Clearinghouse. So that's just another example. You get these calls, these scammers, they'll say they're from Publishers Clearinghouse. They'll show it on the caller ID. Thanks for that warning, Dave. Yeah, Katie's saying the funniest two scam baiters, in my opinion, are Kit Bogo and Dio. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure which one Dio is. I'm sure I'd probably recognize if I saw him. But Kit Bogo's funny. Yeah, he has some interesting software too. What's cool about Kit Bogo is he's doing some interesting stuff on the tech side, right? He's got the AI grandma and the AI bots, right, that waste the scammers' time, which is super cool and entertaining. And then he's also has that software too, where you can install it on your loved one's computers, or I guess your own too, and it blocks certain remote access software. And the idea is that if let's say your parents, right? Let's say you install it on your parents' computer, right? They're always falling for scams, and the scammer calls them, tries to trick them into installing software on their device. What Kit Bogo's software does is it actually blocks that connection and alerts somebody, like a little alert your, the son or daughter, hey, your mom tried to install, this software. She might be dealing with a scammer, right? And it'll block it. So that was a kind of interesting approach to trying to stop some of these scams. So the software looks pretty cool. I think I got to put a link to it on my website, which I'll do eventually. But anyway, yeah, good scam baiters. Kip Bogo, he's hilarious. Style, I'm not sure which one, but probably recognize him if I saw him. Good stuff. So hey, let's continue with these scams. If you're just joining, welcome to the live stream, everybody. We're also very interactive over here, so we'll talk in the chat, leave a comment, leave a reply, share your experience, ask your questions, and I'm doing my best to answer and monitor chats too. So it's an interactive live stream that we do every week. Just because we have a schedule up here, that doesn't mean we're going to really stick to it. This is just a general agenda, which I'm happy to change as different topics get asked about. So, but for now, we're going to continue with these common scams. And the next one, we have a video about this one, tech support scams. This one's super important to be aware of. So tech support scams. Usually victims receive a fake virus alert on their device and are tricked into calling a fake tech support phone number. The victim is unknowingly connected to a scammer who requests access to the victim's device. The scammer then steals personal and financial information from the victim. And this is the example when we were talking about the red flags. When someone wants to connect to your device, it's a red flag. And this is one of the primary scams, why that's important to be aware of, right? Because what these scammers do is you'll be browsing the internet, minding your own business, and you'll get a pop-up saying, "Warning, you have a virus." And it'll say, "Call this number." Right? But it's a scam. It's not real. It's not really from your virus software. It's actually just a fake website pop-up. And we're going to show you some examples of these fake website pop-ups. And again, all these examples we're going to share with you. We have a video about this as well, so you could share it with a loved one to warn them. But also, one of the things about these tech support scams is everybody is susceptible to that. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter if you're on your iPhone browsing the internet or if you're on your work computer, right, your Windows machine or your MacBook at home. It doesn't matter. As long as you're browsing the internet, you might get one of these fake pop-ups. And since the goal of the pop is to trick you into calling a number, right, anybody could fall for that. So let me show you some examples of these fake pop-ups to be aware of. And also, just to make sure we cover it, sometimes there has been cases of scammers calling victims over the phone. They claim to be from a tech support company. And they'll say, "We detected a virus or a problem on your computer." We do hear about those instances where these scammers, they actually reach victims by calling them. But for the most part, I think it's these pop-ups and these fake virus alerts that trick most people into calling these fake tech support numbers. And again, let's take a look at some of these fake pop-ups to make you aware of it. Let's see. Kay says members should receive videos of common scams for each season. I like that. I'm actually getting a mailing schedule set up too that warns people about common seasonal scams, especially coming up in the next couple months because it's scam season. Scam season kicks off pretty much. It's practically scam season right now. But November, December, into January, that's scam season. That's because of all the holidays and the scammers have a blast. So yeah, that's a great tip about some videos about common scams for each season. But that's something I might just even be giving away on the mailing list, just as a way to warn people. Good stuff though. But yeah, these tech support scams, right? So on my screen is an example of a fake pop-up, and it's a fake virus alert, and it's impersonating McAfee antivirus, but it's not McAfee antivirus. It's actually a scam, right? And if you call that number, you'll be connected to a scammer. And even though it's big and scary and red letters, your PC is infected with a virus, action required, it's a scam. You don't want to call that number. In fact, whenever you see a virus alert or virus pop-up warning, if it has a number to call, it's a scam. Real virus alerts don't have phone numbers to call. Right? So, and you can see how someone could be convinced about this. It's got the logo, the colors, right? Maybe the person already has McAfee installed on their computer, so they think, "Oh, McAfee's warning me about something." So, and this is one of those examples where I say, if you're ever concerned that you're actually getting a real virus alert here, instead of calling that number, which you should never call this number, Because again, real virus alerts don't have a number to call. Instead of even thinking about calling a number, you could reach out to your computer person if your concern is real. You know, reach out to the person who helps you with your computer. There's no reason to call these unknown numbers that pop up on your screen. Take a look at some more examples here. There's a fake virus alert impersonates Norton by Symantec. Threats detected. All right, call support 1-855 and then I blurt out the rest of the number because it's a scam. If you call that number, you'll be connected to scammer. And also, it's important to realize that you're going to get connected, in most cases, you're going to get connected to a scam call center. And what I mean by that is there's scammers sitting in a call center all day, and their job is to answer these calls and impersonate McAfee or Norton or whoever's calling for whatever reason. They sit there, they impersonate it, they read off of scripts of what to say, and their job is to scam people all day. So you call these numbers and you get connected to these call centers full of scammers. So this one impersonates Norton and Symantec, right? System critically infected. If you're not able to click on this button immediately, contact support. What's kind of funny about this fake alert is these buttons right here were designed not to work. So if you're sitting there clicking on the buttons and they're not working, then you read this. If you're not able to click on this button, immediately contact support, toll free. It's just another way to try to trick you into calling this number. It's like, I can't click on a button. I better call a number like it says. But it's a scam. Don't call that number. And again, that's how you know it's a scam, because it has a phone number to call. Here's a fake virus alert. Impersonates Windows Defender. Windows Defender security warning. Access to this PC has been blocked for security reasons. It's got the Microsoft logo, the Windows Defender logo. The colors are right. I mean, I can see how someone could possibly be convinced by this. Right, but if it was real, it wouldn't have a phone number to call. Makes sense? Who's with me? Let me know if this all makes sense. Let me know if you've gotten these pop-ups. I know Dave sent me an example the other day of a pop-up that had a countdown. Hey, Lewis, welcome to the comments. Over on Facebook, good to see you. Seeing two of you. I mentioned when it comes to these tech support scams that everybody's susceptible to them. Doesn't matter what kind of device you're using, whether you're using your iPhone or really anything with internet access. Right? You're browsing the internet on, it could get one of these fake pop-ups. So here's a couple examples targeting Macs and iPhones. And this example, you see big scary letters, virus found. Your Mac computer has 13 infections. Please call tech support as soon as possible. And this is data at risk. A whole bunch of scary stuff listed here. Your credit card details and banking information, your email password, your Facebook and Skype and other chat logs, private photos, sensitive files. Your webcam could be accessed remotely by hackers. And then it's got this number to call. If you call it, you'll be connected to a scammer. And then they'll be able to do everything that was just listed here. So that one's targeting Mac users. It's got Safari logo, right? This one also targeting Mac users. It's got the Apple Care, Apple logo. And it says, please call support. macOS is affected with viruses. But if you call, you get connected to scammers. You can tell these examples are a little old because it has the older website layout here. But it's still relevant, still important. You know, macOS infected with spyware, and it's got the other Apple logo here. Call Apple Helpline. If you call, you get connected to scammer. All important to be aware of. I'm noticing some lagging happening with the stream here. How are we all doing out there? Let me know how the stream's doing. Let's see if I can fix this lag that's happening. Just bear with me for a moment. think, are we back? Looks like it might have just been a temporary lag. I think we're back here. Okay, I think we're back. Let me know in the chat in the comments how we're looking over here. Actually, is Facebook a little yeah, it looks like Facebook is a little laggy here. Sorry, but I'm just troubleshooting the live streams here. Looks like we might be having a little trouble on Facebook. But Instagram and YouTube seem okay. Let me know on YouTube if we're still good. It's looking okay to me still, I think. Instagram looks okay too if you're still on the Instagram live stream here. Well, we're just gonna keep on going, I think. And we'll see. Hopefully, it's just limited to Facebook. All right, cool. All right, thanks for letting me know in the chat, Katie. That YouTube seems good, and John as well. Okay. Cool. All right, maybe it's just a Facebook thing. Hopefully it comes back. I don't know if I should refresh the Facebook page if that screws up the stream or not. Well, I guess we'll just see what happens. Maybe Facebook will come back to life. Yeah, so David's saying in the chat, hundreds, maybe thousands of call centers, even from the homes around the clock. Yep, calling potential victims. You can only imagine how many people are being scammed. No, that's very true. There's those entire buildings full of scammers. Very true. Every now and then you hear about one getting shut down, but like I was saying earlier, part of me feels like that's just a shell where it's like, hey, we got one, even though I know there's 29 more up the street or up the river, you know. But again, that's why awareness is key. You can't really rely on, when it comes to this stuff, you can't rely on anybody else, right? There's a certain level of awareness that you have to have yourself to stay safe. Because no software is going to protect you 100%. No authority is going to protect you 100%. So you have to have some kind of awareness. It's key. But let's talk about road toll scams. And then we're going to talk about fake traffic ticket scams, because these road toll scams kind of evolved into this newer fake traffic ticket scam. So these road toll scams, we started seeing it a lot last year coming into this year. And it's when scammers impersonated road toll services like EasyPass, SunPass, Fast Track, and they claim that an unpaid toll is due. Victims are usually contacted by text message or email containing a link to pay. However, the link opens a fake website designed to steal any personal or financial information entered by the victim. There never was an unpaid toll due. All right. So just to summarize all that, you get these text messages, and they claim to be from SunPass or Peach Pass, Quick Pass, Good to Go, EasyPass, North Texas Tollway Authority, Drive Easy Maryland, Fast Track. Right? And they claim to be from all these places. but they're not. It's actually a scammer. And they claim that you missed a toll and you have a payment due. And here's one example. All right, please pay your toll in Florida by January 22nd in order to avoid excessive late fees and potential legal action on statements. Please pay tolls in time. Thank you for your cooperation and wish you a pleasant holiday. All right, but look at that. Notice at the bottom here it has that instruction I warned about earlier on some more examples where it says, please reply yes, and then exit and reopen the message. All right, there's that red flag again. But this is an example of a unpaid toll scam. You get this text message that has a link to pay for a supposedly an unpaid toll you missed. And look, it's a numbers game to them. Just because this text message says Florida, right? To them, they know a lot of people might get this text message that have never been to Florida, but they also know it's a numbers game, and some of them might have, right? Some of them would have been to Florida. And those are the people that are most likely to fall for this type of scam. And we see these types of scams pick up during the holidays because of holiday travel, right? So now it's more likely that you might have traveled to this state to visit family or something, right? So we see these scams pick up more during the holidays too because of holiday travel. And it'll seem legit to the person who gets it. Well, I really was in Florida last week. I must have missed a toll. I better click here and pay it. But it's a scam. Any information you enter is going to get stolen if you click that link. Here's another one. You can tell this one came from the country code of 63, which is the Philippines. Phone number country code. And this one impersonates Easy Drive, Massachusetts. It says Easy Drive MA, reminder. Your bill for $6.99 is due soon. Please visit. And it's got the fake link to the fake website. There's that warning again. Please reply yes and reopen. That red flag to be aware of. Yeah, Katie said, I've gotten the fake toll scams. That is how I know it's spray and pray. Yep. She says, I don't drive and never will. Yep. I like it when, you get these scams and it's obvious right away where it's like, it's telling you owed a toll, but you're like, yeah, well, I don't drive, so I know this is fake. It's kind of like that Comcast message that I was playing earlier. I knew right away it was a scam because I don't even use Comcast. So here I am getting a recording saying it's Comcast in my account. So I was like, this is a scam. I knew right away. So it's nice knowing right away something's a scam, So here's another one. Your vehicle has an unpaid toll bill. To avoid excessive late fees on your bill, please sell it promptly. Thank you for your cooperation. Toll amount $6.99. And it's got the link to the fake website. This one came from country code 63 as well. So it's the Philippines too. Some examples of this scam, and other scams do the same thing, so this applies to other scams as well. But you get a text message, it just has an attachment. You should never open attachments that you weren't expecting or from unknown numbers. But if you did open this attachment, it would have had this attached. And it's a PDF document, claiming you missed a toll. And then it has a link to pay now. But it's a scam. Just another way that they tried to reach their victims through text message. Now, if you did click a link, it might take you to a website that looks like this. And it'll look legit. It's got in this case, it's Washington State's Good to Go service. And it looks like a legit website. They got the logo, the colors, everything, but it's not. It's a scam. You click payment, and that might take you to the page that looks like this. It steals any payment details that you enter. So don't trust it. You get any messages claiming you owe a toll, verify through official channels. Don't trust the links. Don't trust the phone numbers. If you already have the app installed on your device, like your Easy Pass app or some Pass app, check there. Right? But don't trust any links or phone numbers that you get in these text messages. Sadly, I hate to even say it, but sadly, some of these toll services, they really do send text messages. They're not worded like, click here, you missed a toll, and final warning. They're not worded in that way. But, fortunately, I can't say across the board. If you ever, ignore all text messages that claim you owe a toll. But, I'm going to say it anyway. Don't trust any text messages that claim you owe a toll. Instead, go through official channels and check that way. 99% of the time, it's going to be a scam. I'm telling you, don't trust it. And in the same world of that unpaid toll scam. And anybody watching, in the chat or the comments, let me know if you've experienced or noticed the same thing. I've noticed a drop in these unpaid road toll scams, but at the same time, an increase in these fake traffic ticket scams. So now, instead of saying you have unpaid road toll, you'll get these text messages and they say you have an unpaid traffic ticket. All right. We started getting that warning out of multiple states. And they're identical warnings. The text messages that these scammers are sending are identical, except they swapped the state's name out. And in these examples, you can see this came from, again, the country code 63, Philippines. I'm pretty confident the same people that were behind the unpaid road toll scam are the same ones that are probably behind this one. Very similar. They use AI to generate it, the text, to make it more convincing. I noticed that instruction at the end too. Please reply yes and reopen. With that red flag. All right, you can see this example. This is provided by the Illinois Department of Motor Vehicles, I think, provided this example. But you'll notice here's another example provided by Nebraska. It's an identical text message, except the scammers just swap out Nebraska for the state name. So everybody has to be aware of these scams and alert. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Right? They'll target all states. So unpaid road toll scams, traffic ticket scams do. Right, outstanding traffic ticket. That's what this says. Right, and they impersonate the DMV. They impersonate the Department of Transportation. Right, it's just another example. You can't trust any kind of unsolicited communication. Right, you have to verify. You can't trust that at face value anymore. So watch out for those road toll scams, those fake traffic ticket scams. All important to be aware of. Let's see here. It says my live video has ended on Facebook. At least it didn't freeze. Let me see if I get another one started here. Interesting. Bear with me one sec. I'm just going to see if I get the second one started. Lots more scams still coming up here, folks. Just bear with me one sec. I'm just getting this Facebook live stream going again. Because it crashed out for some reason. See if this works. Then we're going to continue. Thanks everybody for bearing with us. Hit that like button if you haven't. Say hi in the chat, the comments. Let me know you're watching. There we go. Got Facebook going again. we're back on Facebook here. We'll see if that holds up. We're going to continue with the live stream here. And for those watching on Facebook, if the live stream crashes out again, you could hop on over to Instagram or YouTube. I think the stream's going pretty good on there still. We'll see. But anyway, let's continue with some common scams to be aware of. So the next scam we're going to talk about is wrong number scams. This is actually our most popular video on YouTube. We got over 100,000 views on this video, which is wild. I love it. We'd love to get another 100,000 on another video, so keep it coming. But yeah, over 100,000 views on our wrong number scam video on YouTube. And basically what a wrong number scam is scammers reach new victims by sending text messages to random phone numbers. When someone replies wrong number, the scammer attempts to continue the conversation and build a trust with the victim. As trust is gained, this type of scam evolves into a romance or pig butchering scam that ultimately steals money from the trusting victim. All right, so we're going to talk about this a little more here. So you ever wonder why you get so many text messages from wrong numbers? This is why. It's a scam, and they're basically just trying to find active phone numbers that they could target more, right? Whether you reply back to them, or continue a conversation with them, even just replying to the wrong number confirms to the scammer that it's an active number. Right, so you never want to reply to wrong number text messages. Me, even if it looks like it could be a legit wrong number, I don't reply because it's not worth it. Most of the time, it's a scammer. Right? If it really is a wrong number, they'll figure it out. It's just not worth confirming to these scammers that you have a real phone number. And the thing about these wrong number scams is they could start with any type of text message. They could start with something like, "Excuse me, is this Emma?" Right? Or, "Hey, Anna, I'm Josie." Right? Or it could just start with a message that says "Hi" from some random number. Right? Because your initial reaction is you want to reply back and say, "Who is this?" Or "Do I know you?" Or you have a wrong number. But just replying back confirms that you are an active phone number and they should target you with more scams. Right? So you should never reply to these random text messages you get. But I'm going to show you some examples of how these conversations might go if you did. All right? So let's take a look at one example here of a wrong number scam. You get a text message that says, "I'm Margaret, you Lillian?" The person replies back, "I'm Izzy." Scammer replies, "I'm really sorry. I think I made a mistake between your number and Lillian's number when saving the number. Hope I didn't disturb your good day." Right? Victim replies back, "That's okay. At this point, conversation should end. Okay, it's been confirmed it's a wrong number. There's no reason to keep talking, but the scammer is going to keep going because it's a wrong number scam, right? So even though it's confirmed it's a wrong number, the scammer replies, "Thank you for your understanding and patience. You're a kind person. I hope you have a good day today. I'm 36 years old. Would you mind telling me your age?" Right? So that's what they're going to start asking you. They're going to start asking your name, your age, your location. They're going to try to learn a little bit about you. They're going to ask if you're employed, if you're married, right? And then they're going to decide what scam is best to target you with, which is usually going to be a pig butchering or romance scam. Let's look at another example of how a wrong number scam might progress. Right, it starts off with a random message out of nowhere. "Have a cup of coffee together sometime." Right, person replies back, "Who is this?" Right, so that was a mistake. Number one, they already replied back, "Who is this?" And it could be tricky because what if you're wondering like, who is, what if somebody I really know? All right, so they reply back, "Who is this?" Scammer replies back something about, "Thought it was my friend Laura. I'm Zoe." Right. Victim replies back, "Yeah, wrong number." All right, and then a scammer says, "I'm sorry, I thought this was Laura's number. I think I dialed the wrong number or area code. Hope I'm not bothering you." Right, the conversation should really stop. It's already been established, but reply back, "Nah, have a good day. Or have a great day." Right, and then the scammer keeps going, though, because it's a wrong number scam. Right, "Thank you for your kindness. I just realized I entered the wrong area code. Where are you from?" Right, so this one asks where you're from, and eventually going to ask your name and your location. So this is how they try to continue the conversation off of a wrong number. That's why it's called a wrong number scam. Let's look at a couple more examples here. By the way, all these examples we share on our video about this as well. So check that out. But this one just started with a random message that says "Hi." All right, reply back, "Hi, who's this?" The scammer replies, "I'm Karina. Are you David? We met last week at Linda's party. You picked this number for me." I reply back, "I'm sorry, you have the wrong number." Right, again, at that point, conversation should stop, but it won't because scam, right? Oh my gosh, I checked and found out I entered the wrong area code. I hope this doesn't bother you. Right? We reply back, that's okay, no problem. Again, conversation should end. Scammer keeps going. Thank you very much. You're a very friendly and polite person. I hope we can be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you? Right, we reply back, Pat. You have a beautiful name. I'm from Malaysia, currently living in Los Angeles. All right, so I'm flattered, but it's a scam. So these are all examples of how a wrong number scam progresses. Eventually, they're going to ask you to continue talking on WhatsApp or Telegram, like we mentioned in the red flags. So be aware. Watch out for that. Hey, Slow and Steady. Welcome to the Instagram live stream. Good to see you. Still lots of good stuff coming up this evening. So hit that thumbs up button, like, share, follow. Here's another example of wrong number scam. You see in this one, the scammer includes a picture, right? You get a random text message that says, "Hi, Byron, I'm Jane." It's got a picture of a woman here. And you can see the message came in at 1:58 p.m., right? Didn't reply, knew it was a scam, obviously. But then at 5:58, 4 hours later on the dot, have you gotten the pictures I sent? Right? So the reason why I bring this up is it's important to realize this isn't even a real person on the other end sending these messages, right? This is a bot. The entire thing's a bot. The bot's programmed to send you a message, to reply with the same stock replies. "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have got the wrong number. What's your age?" Right? And this bot is programmed to send out a message, "Hi, Byron, I'm Jane," include a picture. Right? There's no response in 4 hours. It's programmed to send the follow-up. "Have you gotten the pictures I sent?" Right? Now, eventually, a real scammer will take over. But initially, this is just a bot sending out the same text to hundreds of thousands of people. Right? And it just knows that eventually some people are going to reply. Right? And that's how this scam works. I mentioned earlier the video we did on this scam hit over 100,000 views. And it received quite a few comments. And a lot of people commented saying they received the exact same text message, exact same picture. Right. So it's out there and circulating and important to be aware of. And the thing with the picture they include, previously, usually they would have to steal someone's picture. Right. So this could be a stolen picture. But now, because of AI, they're able to generate these pictures. So even if you do a reverse image lookup, you try to see if the pictures show up under somebody else's profile or website, right? Because they used AI to generate this, it won't. So it's still good to do these reverse image lookups, especially on dating websites when you're talking to people and they send you their pictures. But now because of AI, it's that much harder to detect. If they stole someone's pictures and if who you're talking to is really who you're talking to. So, anyway, watch out for these wrong number scams. A lot of times, that's how they kick off these pig butchering scams and these romance scams. A lot of them, they start from these wrong number scams. Someone thinks they found a new friend out of nowhere. The universe gave them a new friend through a text message. That new friend suddenly says, "Hey, I'm making a lot of money investing. You should invest." Don't fall for it. It's a scam. How we all doing out there? We're just rounding out our second hour here. We started at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, so we're coming up on 2 hours here. We do this live stream every week to spread awareness of common scams. And I think it's time to take the quick second break here, second coffee break. At 7:45, 2 hours in. Now we're going to continue with 7:50. All right, cool. Yeah, so we're about halfway through the scams. If you're just joining the live stream, welcome. Still got plenty more good stuff coming up here. We're streaming live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The Facebook stream crashed out for some reason earlier, so we started a second part here. What are you saying, Katie? You want me to continue into something else there? Go into the next batch of scams. The next batch of scams are actually my favorite batch here. This is where we show the clip of the grandparent scammer. Go over to fake order scams, some recordings of that. In fact, I'm just going to keep on going here. Yeah, we keep on going. Let's talk about some grandparent scams here. This is a good one. So this grandparent scam, that's when scammers impersonate a distressed relative claiming to have been arrested and needing financial help. This was a pretty heinous scam. You know, this one should really get under everybody's skin and bother them. It's called a grandparent scam for a reason, because it literally targets your grandparents. It targets your parents, your grandparents, your loved ones. Right? And it uses the grandkids or the kids as bait. Right? So if you're the younger folks here on the live stream, you're being used as bait. And if you're the older folks here on the live stream, they're using your kids as bait. So it's important to be aware of this scam, this grandparent scam. And there's a few different organizations that are running this scam. And one of the big ones is from the Dominican Republic. Right? We actually have a video here that we're going to share with you from one of these Dominican Republic scammers. One of these scam baiters actually got into his webcam. I was able to record him doing one of these grandparent scams in real time. So we get to see, if you ever thought to yourself, how could someone fall for a scam that's impersonating their loved one, their daughter, their granddaughter? Right, I'm going to show you a video of how that scam goes down, and maybe I can understand now when I see this how someone could fall for this. Right, because the first 20 seconds, he just acts like a distressed loved one crying. It could sound like anybody's relative, right? And then he switches over to impersonating a cop. So let me play this video for you. And again, if you ever wondered how a grandparent scam could trick somebody or how it goes down, this is an example of what's going on. This is a scammer in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, Mom, I had a car accident.
Huh?
I had a car accident, Mom.
Is this Linda?
It's me, Linda.
Where are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna put the officer on. I got arrested.
You got arrested?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
Yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number?
It's the number 2.
2?
The letter B as in boy. Can you read that back to me?
2, B.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Linda was involved in a car accident. It was stated in the police report. She admitted that was her fault. While she was driving, she was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am, okay?
Oh, man.
The woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might lose her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscated her cell phone for legal evidence, so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is going to be her only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Let's honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm going to need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, ma'am.
All right. Bye.
The next.
All right, the stream was looking a little laggy. Hopefully that was clear for you there. But that was an example of a scammer over in the Dominican Republic, and what he's doing something called a grandparent scam. And he impersonates a loved one. For about 20 seconds, he impersonates a loved one by crying and sounding like they're in distress. And then he switches over to impersonate a police officer, and he says, your loved one's been arrested. They've been in an accident. Goes into this whole elaborate story. All right, and this guy, he's known as an opener. He opens the scam. Right, he gets the victim, he gets the target on the phone. He opens the scam. Tells them what's going on, the fake narrative, and then he hands it off to other scammers to reach out and collect the money. And those other scammers, what they do is they just impersonate all different agencies until the victim has no money left. Right? First they'll call up and they'll impersonate defense attorneys. Then they'll call up and they'll impersonate police officers. And they call up and they impersonate court personnel. And they just continue to take more and more money until the victim has none to give. Right? So they're taking the retirement fund, a retiree who thinks that she's saving her grandkids from a whole bunch of trouble. So it's important to be aware of this type of scam. Make sure that the older folks in your life are aware of it, because they're the ones that are being targeted the most with this. The people with kids or grandkids. What's interesting about this scam is we actually saw some recent news reports about this type of scam being adapted to target parents of college kids. Right? So these scammers, I guess they were able to get a list of college students somewhere, and they would reach out to their parents and they'd say, your kid's been arrested or is in trouble over here at the campus. We're with the campus police. And it's a twist on this traditional grandparent scam. So be aware of that, even if you got kids in college too. They're targeting you. Yeah, this live stream's super laggy. The Facebook live stream stopped again. Huh. All right, well, so much for the Facebook stream this evening. Let me close that out. Maybe it's causing some other lagginess. It's been a few weeks since we had technical difficulties, so it's actually probably been over a month or two since we had technical difficulties. So I'm not going to complain too much, just having a little tonight here. Let me just kill this one stream and then we'll continue. All right, so we're going to continue on Instagram and YouTube here. Dave, thanks for the super thanks. Awesome. $5 super thanks from Dave. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Always appreciate you. All right, so that's grandparent scams. Watch out for them. Make sure your loved ones are aware of those. Right, and those scammers, again, they're ruthless. They want to take everything that that grandparent or relative has. They want to take their retirement fund, any inheritance you're going to get, they're going to try to take it. So, again, it takes community. Make sure your loved ones are aware of it. Make sure the older folks are aware of these specific scams that try to trick them. Tech support scams that we talked about a little earlier. These grandparent scams are targeting the older folks. This next scam is really important to be aware of. This is a fake order scam. I did a video about this one too. But these fake order scams, this scam's targeting you from all directions, right? There's emails coming in as part of these fake order scams. There's text messages coming in, fake order scams. And there's phone calls coming in as part of fake order scams. And I have a bunch of examples of those I'm going to share with you, especially the phone calls. The phone calls are important to identify and recognize. All right, but basically what happens is these fake order scams, the victim receives a fake notification that an order was made under their account. When the victim calls to dispute the fake order, a scammer impersonates customer support and attempts to steal their personal and financial information. Right? So you might get an email that says an order was placed. Call this number to dispute it. You might get a text message that says an order was placed. Call this number to dispute it. Right? You might get a phone call that says an order was placed. Hit 1 to dispute this order. Right? But this is a scam, and it's an extremely common scam too, and important to be aware of. Sometimes they impersonate PayPal. You get an email or a text message that says a PayPal payment is being made or scheduled, and it says click here if this wasn't you. But it's a scam. Right? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to call a scam center or interact with a scammer. And an example of this is this text message right here that impersonates Apple. We received lots of reports about this scam text message. Right? And it's saying that an order was placed using your Apple Pay, $143 at Apple Store. Right? And then it says to cancel the charge, call this number. Right? But if you call that number, you'll be connected to a scammer. They'll impersonate Apple, but they're going to try to convince you that your identity's been stolen. You have to transfer your funds to keep them safe. They might ask to connect your device. Look for anything suspicious on your device, right? But it's all a big trick to get onto your device. So as an example of fake order notification, right? They say an order was placed on your account, and they try to trick you into calling a number to dispute it. All right, so that's the text message version of this. And just because this one says Apple, that doesn't mean that all of them do. That's the thing that's tricky about these fake order notifications. They could claim to be from any vendor. They could claim to be for any item. All right, so you have to be more aware of being suspicious of any notification you get about an order that was placed. If you're concerned that this was real, what you want to do is you check your Apple account. Don't trust any of the links. Don't call a phone number. Instead, go directly to your Apple account and check. All right, and then if you really want, then reach out to Apple. Go contact them directly. But don't trust the phone number. Don't trust links there in these text messages. All right. But I mentioned that this type of scam, you're being targeted from all directions, right? And a popular way that people are getting targeted with this scam is phone calls. So I'm going to play you 2 phone call examples of these fake order scams. And both of these phone calls are actively circulating. Been getting reports about them regularly. And it's just another example of how these fake order scams and the scammers are targeting you. So let's listen to these 2 phone calls. The first one impersonates Walmart. The first one impersonates Amazon and claims that a MacBook Pro was purchased under your account. And then it says press 1 to dispute. Right? And the idea is when you press 1, you're going to connect to a scammer. They're going to impersonate Amazon and go along with the whole story, but it's going to be a scammer. All right, so let's listen to this phone call.
This call is to authorize the payment of $1,499 for the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
So a lot of people reported this exact recording to me. We included it in a few of our videos, and lots of people commented saying they received the same recording, right? And what it is they're saying that a MacBook Pro was purchased under your Amazon account, and then they say to press 1 to dispute it. But this is a scam. If you press 1, you'll get connected to a scammer. They'll probably go into a narrative where they say someone's stolen your identity, your money's not safe, you need to transfer your money, you need to purchase gift cards, something along those lines, right? But the whole point is if you get calls like these, don't engage, right? Especially, it didn't even leave a real phone number to call back to, right? It just tells you to press 1. So be alert. It's an example of a fake order scam. Again, the scammers could impersonate any vendor. They could claim any item was purchased. And this next example of a fake order scam phone call impersonates Walmart, and it claims that a PlayStation was purchased. All right, so let's listen to this one.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3D headset being ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call on same number at your earliest convenience.
Right, and whenever it says call back on same number, right, or call back on number displayed, that's always a red flag. They didn't leave a real phone number. But this was another example of a fake order scam phone call. You get a phone call, it says that an order was placed under your account, and it tries to get you to call back or press 1 to get connected to a customer support person. But it's a scam. You get connected to a scammer. Right. So fake order scams, again, you're being targeted from all directions, whether it's text messages, phone calls, but also emails. Right. So we have a article here from last year, still applies today. It's about a 23-year-old Lincoln woman reported losing $4,100 after falling victim to an identity fraud scam in July. Right, and this is an example of a fake order scam. In her case, it was an email. Right, so it says the scam began on July 17th with an email claiming she had purchased an iPhone. Right, the woman called the number provided in the email to dispute the purchase. Right, so let's stop right there. That's the fake order scam. Right, she got an email. It claimed that she purchased an iPhone. It said to call a number to dispute it. She calls the number. She gets connected to the scammer. Right, that's how these fake order notification scams work. Now, once you get connected to the scammer, that's when they go into their whole narrative, right? They go into their whole scam to steal your money. And let's read what happened in her case. This could vary, but in her case, it's a pretty good example about what happens. So she calls that number. She thinks she's talking to Apple and is canceling this iPhone order. And she's told by the scammers that somebody opened multiple accounts across various states and someone's using her identity. Right? It's very common for them to say that to you. It's actually referred to, they refer to it as the phantom hacker narrative. They say someone's gotten into your accounts and your money's not safe. So anyway, according to police, the scammers then connected the woman to a person posing as a CIA agent and instructed her to withdraw $3,600 from the bank account. The next day, she was directed to use the money to purchase Walmart gift cards and send photos and receipts. Additionally, the woman sent another $500 gift card to the scammers. Right, so that's an example of a fake order scam, and in this case, it's an email. Right, and there's that red flag about gift cards too. That's a good example of why we talked about those red flags earlier. You know, any mention of a gift card should be a red flag. And in her case, if she was aware of that red flag, it might have been enough to stop this. So watch out for these fake order scams. It's an extremely common scam. Again, you're being targeted email, text message, phone calls from all directions. So any type of notification, just like with other scams, you want to confirm it through official channels. You can't trust the phone number that's included in the notification. You can't trust the link. You need to confirm it through official channels. So watch out for these fake order scams. Next scam we're going to talk about here. This one's important to be aware of because it always picks up as the end of the year and the holidays approach. Undeliverable package scams. This is when you receive a fake notification about an undeliverable package and are asked to click a link to resolve. The link opens a fake website impersonating UPS, FedEx, or USPS. Any personal or financial details provided by the victim are stolen by the scammers. There never was a package. And again, this one always picks up more during the holidays because there's always packages being sent and received. So people are more likely to fall for this type of scam. And usually this scam is most common through text message. Right, so you'll get a text message that looks like this. And this one impersonates UPS. It says, UPS ground, reschedule your shipment delivery. We attempted to deliver your UPS package on June 23rd, a little spelling error there, which is always a red flag, but we're unable to contact you and the delivery could not be completed. Your package needs to be signed for in person, so please reschedule the delivery by doing the following. And that has the link to the fake website. Right, but it's important to recognize, though, that UPS, FedEx, USPS, they'll never send you text messages like these. Right? They don't do this randomly. If you want to get updated on a package, you actually have to go and request updates for a specific package. You won't randomly get text messages saying that a package can be delivered. Right? So if you get any kind of text messages like these, be aware and know that it's a scam. especially as the holidays start approaching. We're already seeing more reports of this scam circulating. There's another one from USPS. Due to an invalid address, you have a package that needs to be delivered but has been suspended due to an incorrect delivery address. If you do not update your address before 24 hours, your package will be returned to the sender. And it's got a fake link to click. Don't fall for it. Another example. This one's interesting because the scammer started a group text. They named the group text to USPS, probably to appear more believable, right? And then it has the link, since the package does not have a house number, transportation was interrupted, please update, and it's got a link to click. That's all. It's just another version of this undeliverable package scam. Let me know in the chat if you've been targeted with this type of scam. Because if not, you probably will soon. And here's a couple more examples of this text message undeliverable package scam. And in these examples, the text message comes with an attachment. So again, anything that comes as an attachment, whether it's a email or a text message, if you weren't expecting it or it came from somebody you didn't know, you shouldn't open the attachment. It can install malware on your device. Best case, it just has a bad link to a fake website. But worst case, it installs malware on your device, especially when it's an HTML file that's attached. And you can see this could be convincing. It could look legit. It's got the logo, USPS.com. Dear customer, your package has arrived at the distribution facility. We were unable to deliver it due to incomplete address information. Right, please click on HTML file to update your address. Right, but it's a scam. You click that file, it can install malware or just take it to a fake website. So, all important to be aware of these undeliverable package scams. Again, we're seeing more reports of these lately, and we're going to see more as the holidays approach. Next scam we're going to talk about, another holiday scam to be aware of. That's the end of year and the holidays start approaching. Fake retail websites. We're going to see a lot of these as the holidays approach again for Christmas, for example. We know that these scammers, they put up fake retail websites offering popular and hot products that might be hard to find, right? One that comes to mind is Labubu's, right? Kind of hate mentioning those every week, but have to because they're a hot item, and we've already received reports of fake websites, offering those. But basically, these scammers create a fake website to sell products that are never delivered. Victims are lured in by unbeatable deals and lose money once they pay. These scams often target holiday shoppers or those seeking trending items. And some examples of these fake websites. All right, this was last year during Black Friday. Right, so same scam. It's coming. It's gonna be here soon. Watch out for it. But it'll take you to these fake websites offering products. Like this one says valued at $175, but for $9 or $8.95, you get this wireless headphones. Right, so it's almost $200, and they're saying you get it for shipping. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Here's another one, same deal, $175, but they say just get it for $8.69. Pay for shipping. There's always a red flag. A deal that good, especially when they say just pay for shipping. That's a trick that these scammers like to use. Because any payment details you enter is going to get stolen by a scammer. Here's another example. This one's offering wireless earbuds. Just pay shipping. They're valued at $175, but just pay shipping, $8.69. That's a scam. Any details you enter are going to get stolen. And the wireless earbuds are an example of how scammers take popular items, because we know that was a popular item the past few years, and they work it into their scams. Now look, you could end up on some of these fake retail websites in a few different ways. Scammers, they purchased ads on social media, just like anybody else. So if you're on Facebook scrolling through, you might get an ad for free wireless earbuds, pay shipping, right? But it could take you to a scam website. So you have to be suspicious of ads on social media, right? Emails, right? You get any emails, you could say something like, valued customer, here's a free item, right? They link it to a fake website like this, or special offer for the holidays, and they link it to a website like this, right? So they could target you by email. And then there's search results too. You might be searching for one of these items. You could be searching for these wireless earbuds, and a scammer may have purchased a listing, through the search engine. Right? So just because you see a sponsored listing or you see in the search engine results on Google, for example, it doesn't mean you can trust it. Scammers purchase search engine results just like anybody else. So be suspicious of these retail websites that you've never heard of before, offering these amazing deals that seem too good to be true, right? Especially as the holidays approach. So that's fake retail websites. Watch out for those. This other scam we're going to talk about are these gift card received scam. This example is an email version of that scam. Basically what happens is victims receive an email notification that they received a gift card. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by clicking a link, malware is installed in their device, or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. Right. So an example of that, you might get an email like this, and it looks like it came from Venmo. It says your $50 gift card is here. Your company has given you an employee rewards card. Activate your card today. Right? But if you click that link to activate it, it's a scam. So what you might want to do, or what you really should do, is you get any kind of notification about a gift card or from an employer or from a friend or family member, what you should do is reach out to them first to confirm that they actually sent this to you. So like in this case, it says it's from your employer, right? So you'd reach out to your employer and say, hey, did you actually send me this employee's reward card? Right? If it said it was from a family member or a friend, you reach out to them first. Say, hey, did you actually send me this? You're going to want to say thank you anyway, right? So you might as well confirm it's real first. And they say it's real, go ahead and activate it. But you shouldn't blindly trust emails that say, hey, here's a free gift card, click here. So watch out for that scam. Whether it's an email or in real life too. Like you get a postcard, which we'll talk about later, offering a free gift. You gotta be suspicious. Who's with me still? Let me know in the chat if you're watching. Some more good stuff coming up. Make sure to join the free mailing list if you haven't yet. Scamware101.com and hit join mailing list. To send you reminders when we're going live, some useful scam awareness tips. All right, we've been streaming since 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, so we're going about 2.5 hours so far, close to that. Need to take a second coffee break real quick, 5 minutes, just to get recaffeinated here and keep going. We still have some good stuff coming up on the live stream. We'll go over some QR code scams, some snail mail scams. Go check out the ARP scam tracker map. So probably got about another hour or so we're going to go for here. So make sure to hit that live button. Let me know you're still watching. And we're going to be back in 5 minutes to continue with some more good scam awareness info here. All right, everybody, we're going to keep going here. That's our last coffee break of the evening, so we're going to continue uninterrupted for the rest of the live stream here. If you're just joining, say hi in the chat. Let us know you're watching. We're streaming live on Instagram and YouTube right now. All right, we're going to go with some more common scams. So we're going to talk a little bit about QR code scams. They're becoming more and more popular and important to be aware of. And unfortunately, a lot of these old school scams, like traditional mail scams, they now have come back to life because they include a QR code. It makes it a lot easier for scammers to target people offline with their traditional scams, whether it's snail mail or a QR code that they have hanging in public. Right? It tricks people a lot easier into accessing a malicious website. And the first example we're going to share with you is a free gift offer that's on a postcard. Right? So we just shared the free gift. We just showed you the free gift offer that comes through email. Right? You receive a free gift card. Well, now here's a postcard example of that same type of scam. And basically, victims receive a physical postcard in the mail offering a free gift. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by scanning a QR code, malware is installed on their device, or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. All right, so it's the same type of scam, except they use a QR code and they target you through the mail. Oh, and look what this example is offering. Bluetooth earbuds, right? Just like that last example on the fake retail website, because it's a popular item. And that's what scammers do. They figure out what products are popular to add more incentive to their scams. Right, in this case, the person that submitted this example says that if you scan a QR code, it takes you to a phishing website that captures your personal information, such as your name, address, Amazon account, and even your credit card number. So, just because you get these offers in the mail, that doesn't mean you could trust it. And when it comes to QR codes, you need to treat them like you would links, because you should treat them very suspiciously, right? You shouldn't just click on any old link. Right? You don't want to click on links that come from strangers or links to websites you're not familiar with. And the same thing goes for scanning QR codes, because all QR codes are is they just direct you to a link, except they keep it a little bit better hidden, right? So they're dangerous. So you should only scan QR codes on trusted sources, and be careful. If you receive one in the mail or you see one in public, about scanning it. We also have a video our YouTube channel about brushing scams, which those usually, you start hearing about those more during the holiday as well. But the thing about brushing scams, you receive a package in the mail. It'll be an envelope, usually, or a little package, and it'll contain a worthless item. Like it'll contain a keychain or a ping pong ball or just a worthless, cheap item. But what's happening is a scammer behind the scenes is leaving a review, right? And they just plugged in a random address to order this worthless item to, so they can leave a review, and your address happened to get the worthless item. So if you start receiving random items like that, don't worry about it, throw it out. But more importantly, if it has a QR code to scan, don't scan it. Because what's happening is these brushing scams, they call them, is you receive a package that has no information about who it's from, right? And again, it picks up during the holidays, so you might think, oh, I got a gift from somebody, right? But it has a QR code to scan. If you scan that QR code, it takes you to a malicious website or installs something dangerous on your device. And it's a trick that scammers use. All right, so if you receive a random package that doesn't have any information about who it's from, all it has is a QR code. Be careful, be suspicious. It's known as a brushing scam. As far as QR code scams go, too, sometimes what scammers do is they'll take stickers of malicious QR codes and they'll place them on top of QR codes in public. So when you're scanning a QR code out in public, you think it's a legit one, but you're actually scanning a malicious one. And a case of that, where we're seeing that, is on parking meters, right? So a lot of these public parking meters, they have QR codes that you would scan, and you just to download the app onto your device, right? But what scammers are doing is they're putting QR codes on top of the legit ones, Right? They're putting their fake QR codes on top of legit ones. You scan these parking meters thinking you're going to pay for parking. It takes you to a fake website, and the scammer steals your payment details. On top of it, you get a ticket for parking because you thought you paid, but you didn't. So that's from these scammers, like replacing legit QR codes with their malicious ones. So it's always important to, when you're in public, if you're going to scan a QR code, make sure it doesn't look like it's been tampered with, or there's not a sticker on top of it, right? It doesn't look like somebody replaced the QR code that's on there. If you could avoid scanning a QR altogether and just go directly to the site, that's the best course of action. The best QR code is when you don't even have to scan. Right? You just go directly to where you want to go. But this is a good example of what you need to be careful of in public. Any public QR codes that could be tampered with. On a parking meter, on menus, hang on a flyer. Another example of these QR code scams that we're starting to hear more reports about. I was going to say, staying with the theme of parking, are these fake tickets being left in people's windshields, being left on their car. Right? It's these fake parking tickets. And then they include a QR code to scan. It's the person covered it with his fingers in this example here, but they have a malicious QR code to pay the parking ticket. But it's a fake parking ticket. You actually get taken to a fake website, and they steal whatever payment details you enter. And there's been reports of this in a few major cities. This example shows Houston, but I think Denver was another one that we saw being reported in other major cities. So if you're going to scan a QR code, make sure it's taking you to a legit website, right? Because a lot of times when you scan a QR code, you can preview where it goes to. But there's just another creative example of what these scammers are doing. They leave these fake parking tickets behind with QR codes that take the victim to a fake website to pay. So all examples of QR code scams. Let me know if you've encountered any of these or come across any of these types of scams. Let me know in the chat. Yep, the scammers get creative. All right, we're going to keep going here. Again, we're rounding out all the scams here. We go over at least 21 different types of scams on this live stream. So we're getting to the last three, it looks like here. And then, what we usually do after we go over these last three snail mail scams, we're going to go check out the scam tracker map, the ARP scam tracker map, and see what other people are reporting, what some recent reports are coming in, and if there's any scams that we should take a few minutes to discuss that we haven't covered already. So we're going to do that in a little bit too, in about 15 minutes. So it looks like we'll probably be wrapped up tonight about 9 o'clock. We're going to wrap it up. So probably 40 minutes left. Still some good stuff coming up. So let me know you're watching. Say hi in the chat. Hit that like button. Follow, subscribe. Help us spread awareness about these scams. Look, we're just trying to put something good out there. And, it may be boring sometimes. It's more of an educational experience and learning experience here. And it could get a little boring sometimes. But, we want to get that information out there. Even if it means you got to repeat the same things over and over again about not trusting caller ID and realizing that scammers can manipulate caller ID, right? And always remembering to verify who's calling or contacting you. You can't trust the phone numbers or contact details that are included in the message. You always have to verify through official channels. Just because someone says they're calling from the bank, that doesn't mean you can trust it. You have to hang up and call your bank directly. We're gonna repeat things like that over and over again. But let's go over some more common scams there. Our last batch, actually. And we're going to talk about some snail mail scams or traditional post office scams. We only got a couple examples here to share with you, so we'll get through them pretty quick. but they are important to be aware of because scammers still are using the postal service to target people with snail mail scams. We just showed you some physical examples of some scams that people are using, right? So we're going to show you a couple examples of ones that they just deliver to directly to your mailbox now. And even though it's probably considered cheating here, I am just going to bring up this example again that we shared earlier. We were talking about QR code scams. And we showed this free gift postcard that might arrive, offering a free gift in your mailbox. And we used that as an example for the QR code scam. So it still applies to a snail mail scam because you could get a free gift offer arriving to your mailbox, right? And whether it has a QR code or not, whether it's a free gift offer or a you've won a free prize or you've won a lottery or Publishers Clearinghouse, right? They've mentioned earlier how he's getting phone calls, claiming to be Publishers Clearinghouse, right? So they still send out letters, these scammers claiming to be from Publishers Clearinghouse. So I don't trust them. Any free offers, any lotteries, any free prize, anything delivered in your mailbox. People tend to trust mailbox, like things that arrive to them through postal service, because they feel like it's more directly to them and closer to home. Like it gets delivered right to their home. So people tend to trust it a little bit more. But the truth is you need to verify those two and confirm if things are legit or not. All right. And the next example that we're going to show you is an example of an inheritance scam. And this is when these scammers, they impersonate law offices and they'll send out a letter directly to your mailbox through the postal service, right? That impersonates this law office offering inheritance, right? So victims are contacted with claims of a large inheritance from an unknown relative, but to claim it, they must pay fees or provide personal details. These scams exploit curiosity and greed to steal money and identity information, right? So, look, here's a letter, a real letter, dated November 29th, 2024, so it's not even a year old yet. This example is a letter that someone received directly to their mailbox, and it impersonates a law firm. Apologies if my letter came to you as a surprise. There is an unclaimed permanent life insurance policy held by our deceased client. Right, it says their deceased client died 4 years ago of COVID-19, and their life insurance policy is $10.8 million. And you share the same last name with that person, so you're entitled to this inheritance. Right, and they're offering to do it for you. It's 100% risk-free, of course. They say this claim requires a high level of confidentiality, and it may take up to 30 business days, right? So there's that request for confidentiality. Yeah, it's the red flag that we mentioned earlier, where they try to tell you to keep something secret and not tell anybody. And what was interesting about this letter scam is where it says "Dear" and then it has a person's name. It made sure that it put the same last name as who it was addressed to as the deceased client, right? So, and we saw multiple people. Look, we Googled this letter real quick. You Google a few sentences from this letter, and plenty of people reported receiving this same exact letter. The only difference is the last names get switched out to match whoever it's targeting. So just because it has the last names correct in this case, that doesn't mean you can trust it. But it's a little touch that these scammers use to make it seem more legit. So don't be fooled if you get a letter like this. And we've all become so accustomed being targeted online. And don't forget we're being targeted offline too. And again, this scam, this example, is circulating less than a year ago, so watch out for it. It's an inheritance scam. Yeah, so Dave mentions as new companies, businesses are being created, including new technologies, it just gives scammers more opportunity to come up with new ideas to hurt people. No, it's true. And look, scammers are one of the first groups to kind of mass adapt new technologies and new software. They're almost just like the sales and marketing team from hell. You know what I mean? Like they're a sales and marketing team, but they can lie, cheat, steal, not deliver what they're selling, claim to be anybody, claim to offer anything. It's almost like they're just evil sales teams that's allowed to do whatever they want to just bring in money. and they have the software to do it. You know, they're using the same software that legit sales teams would love to have. You know, they're able to, these scammers able to send hundreds of thousands of text messages per day, right? Well, you know what? Legit companies would love to have that type of sales power. Software that could send hundreds of thousands of text messages per day and lists of phone numbers that they could send those texts to. But, you know, there's regulations and rules, and meanwhile, the scammers, they're like the sales team that no rules apply to, you know. And so anyway, they adapt this technology. They use this technology. You know, they've been sending mass emails for decades now, right? So they're, a lot of times they're first to adapt this technology and use it to a level where companies can't or aren't allowed to. Like AI right now, right? Where we're getting so many reports of scammers adapting AI and using it in ways that a lot of companies aren't even using it for. We're hearing about scammers using face swapping AI and doing job interviews through cameras and while they're in other countries, right? And using voice changing and cloning software to like, they're using all this crazy technology on the forefront of AI, and it's already being adapted by scammers. And so many companies haven't even started experimenting with half the stuff yet, right? Meanwhile, the criminals and scammers, they're already using it to do fake phone calls. And, you know, for those pig butchering scams, right, they'll use the software to make it seem like, you know, it's a female calling these victims. It's crazy what they could do with this AI. And it's only going to get even more crazier, which is why, you know, again, awareness is so important, right, Dave? Got to be aware of this stuff because the technology is going to become even more convincing. Even the text that they use and the messages and the wording and the grammar, you know, things they used to be able to count on where it's like, oh, it's got spelling errors or grammar errors or capitalization is off, right? Now with AI, there's going to be less of that because the AI just generates it all correctly, right, for a scammer. The scammer could barely know English, but they got the AI tool to just generate it and say whatever they want, and it'll look and sound right. The voice that they'll use, those robocalls that we played earlier, I mean, those are a form of AI, right? They use these AI tools to create these realistic sounding voices, realistic sounding script that the voice reads, and then they leave these robocalls. So it's not, a person on the other end doesn't sound like that. They're using all these tools. Yep, ChatGPT. Yep, of course. There's that, of course. Yep. And then they could create these songs with AI too, right, Dave? It's crazy. They want to create a little jingle and call and play an AI song. Or you know what? They could actually, the same software that you use to create those AI songs, right? I bet you a scammer could be like, create me a fake voicemail or a fake robocall that you know, sells this or says that, right? And it'll probably just come back and do a robocall just as much as it would of a song, I would guess. But anyway, yeah, AI. It's crazy. But anyway, let's get to this last scam here. I'm rambling on and on here. We got one more snail mail scam to talk about, and then we're going to check out the scam tracker map. And this last scam that we're going to talk about here, we actually released a video about this one. And it's a secret shopper check scam, right? Because we're talking about snail mail scams. So this scam actually arrives as a letter, you know, to your mail through the postal service, to your mailbox. And it claims that you were selected as a secret shopper. Or in this case, what they officially call this scam, they call it a secret survey. A secret survey check scam. And these secret survey check scams. Dave, you're still waiting for help. I know, man. I know. I'm close. I have the first place you're going to actually see that used is going to be the next video that I put up that we release on our YouTube channel that we're doing. It's the end screen. You know, like the last 20, 25 seconds of a video. I'm going to have that playing on the end screen where, you know, the other YouTube options pop up. So that's the first place you're going to notice. I'll let you know when it's actually like publishing up there, but that's the first place I'm going to put it. And then we're going to use it during those coffee breaks too, eventually. But it's coming. I haven't forgot it yet. Just trying to get it done. So yeah, this last scam here, the secret survey check scam is what they officially call it, but really it's a mystery shopper scam. And how it works is you receive these letters or a letter in the mail, and these are real examples of letters that you might receive. And this one impersonates Walgreens and CVS. Right? It claims you've been selected and assigned a secret survey assignment because you're a secret shopper. Right? And included in this envelope with this letter, there's a check. Right? So that's why this is a check scam. It's a secret survey check scam. Right? So you receive this letter, you think you've been selected as a mystery shopper, you think you have the check in hand, right? But having the check in hand means nothing because it's a bad check, right? So what happens is this letter instructs you to deposit the check, and then it says within 12 to 24 hours, go and purchase 4 gift cards, $500 each, right? And then you provide them to the scammer. And it says you keep the extra $480 as your commission. But this is a scam. What's happening here is if you complete this, you go out, you deposit the check, then within 12 to 24 hours, you go purchase gift cards like it instructs, send them to gift cards. Right? What's going to happen is you'll be thinking, great, I did what I needed to do. I got an extra $450 in the bank, $480, whatever the case. Right? And what's going to happen is 24 hours later, 48 hours later, your bank's going to tell you that the check was no good. It's going to bounce. Right? That money's going to be gone. So that $2,000 that you thought that you had in your bank to purchase gift cards is gone. Right? The gift cards have already been sent to the scammer. There's nothing you could do about it. And the bank's going to hit you with a fee for depositing a bad check. So basically, you just got scammed at $2,000 and got hit with a bank fee. Right? And that's how this works. And what's interesting about this example, this scam letter, this first example, it just instructs you to either go to Walgreens or CVS. But the scammer, he'll take a couple different kind of gift cards. He'll take Apple gift cards, Razer Gold gift cards, Nike gift cards, Steam Wallet gift cards. So this scammer, he'll take a few different gift cards and he instructs you to go to Walgreens or CVS. This other example of a letter, same scam, just a little bit different, but still impersonates Walgreens, CVS. This one includes a check for about $2,000, $1,987, right? And it instructs the victim to purchase 3 gift cards. Instead of 4, it says 3, right? Except this scammer, he lists a whole bunch of stores that the victim would go to, not just limited to CVS or Walgreens. He tells the victim they go to Walgreens, Best Buy, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Family Dollar, Meijer, Kroger, Safeway, Dollar General, Walmart, Speedway, and Albertsons. Right? But this scammer only takes Apple gift cards. Right? So it doesn't matter where you get them from, but he wants you to get Apple gift cards. And again, it works the same way. He tells you deposit the $1,987 check, then within 12 to 24 hours, purchase these gift cards. Right? But what's going to happen is, in a day or two, you get notified by the bank the check was no good, and you lose, in this case, the $1,500 that you spent on those gift cards. And you get a with fee from the bank. So, again, it's known as a secret survey check scam. We did a video about this one. We go into more detail, so check out that video on our YouTube channel. But key points is, just because it comes with a check doesn't mean you can trust it. Right? The check could still be bad. If anything, you want to call whoever issued the check, whoever it says the bank is, and see if you can verify the funds are in that account. Right? First of all. And do a little research. Make sure this is even a legit offer. 99% of the time, you're not going to get a check in the mail, an offer like this, especially if you didn't apply for it. So, anyway, check out that video. Be aware of these secret survey check scams is what they're known as. And that's it for the 21 different types of scams and the examples that we go over and share with you on this live stream. So if you stuck around with us this long, thank you so much. Always appreciate it. You're still watching, Dave. Appreciate you. Katie, appreciate you if you're still here. I know you're getting ready to leave. I think I'm starting to bore you, but I still appreciate you. And but we're not done yet. What I usually like to do on these live streams, we usually like to wrap up these live streams by checking out what kind of scams are being reported on the ARP scam tracker map. And this is always probably my favorite part of the live stream because we get to look in real time, or at least in the past 2 days, what scams were reported, directly to ARP, and we could tell if, hey, are the scams we're covering still, the same scams that are being reported, or are there a few other scams that we need to talk about? So anyway, the scam tracker map over here on our Scamware 101 website, scamware101.com, and under tools and software. Lots of good links under here, by the way. But all the way at the bottom, you see the ARP scam tracking map. So we're going to open that up. Now, I'm going to tell it not to use my location because I actually want to just see the reports coming in nationwide here. But if you wanted to, you can narrow it down to your zip code or location. But what we can see here is these are all reports from the 21st. So today's the 23rd, so 2 days ago. All right. So we could take a look at some of these recent reports and see if there's anything worth talking about or if they reveal anything new about these scams. So let's take a look at this first one. I received a call from Victor calling on behalf of DirecTV. They were offering a special senior citizen discount. Oh, good. Let's see what this one says. This looks interesting. And some of these reports end up being hit or miss. You know, sometimes they give you good details, sometimes they don't. This guy looks like he gave us some good ones here. He says, I received a call from Victor calling on behalf of DirecTV. They were offering a special senior citizen discount of $70 per month if I went to Walgreens or CVS and purchased an Apple gift card and called their billing department with a special promotion code. Then, which will cover the first 2 months of service, then my bill will go down $149 per month, including all taxes and fees. I had to do it in the next 4 hours. That's a tactic scammers use. They try to rush you and put a time limit on something. It sounded too good to be true, so I contacted DirecTV, and they said they would never call a customer with a promotion. They would only send an email. Wow, so there you go. So this guy, luckily, he didn't get scammed. But this is very similar to the Comcast scam that we mentioned, right? I played earlier in this live stream the Comcast scam where it says your discount's going to expire, but they have a promotion going with Target, and they go purchase a Target gift card, right? Well, this sounds similar, except they impersonate DirecTV, and they're offering a discount if you pay with an Apple gift card. All right, so a similar scam. They're offering a discount and saying that you got to purchase and pay through a gift card. Right? These are scammers. They're not really people calling from DirecTV. They're not really people calling from Comcast. Interesting. So we're starting to see that type of scam pick up a little bit, or at least a different type of report about it. We've seen the Comcast one, but now we're seeing one for DirecTV. So interesting. Keep this one in mind, and always remember, gift cards should be considered a red flag. Any mention of purchasing a gift card. Any service providers reaching out to you, be aware of that. And this guy did the right thing. The person who made that report, he did the right thing. He hung up. He called DirecTV directly. Right? And that's what you would want to do if you were concerned, if you thought this was a real offer. Hang up and call DirecTV or whoever directly. Government imposter scam. I received a call stating that I failed to appear in court. The caller ID was an actual Metro National Police. Oh, this is a good one too. Excellent. Let's take a look at this one. Good. It gives a lot of details here. So this sounds like it's going to be an arrest warrant scam. Or, yeah. Excellent. And in this example, so we talked about arrest warrant scams earlier. And one of the main reasons I said that they might claim that arrest warrants could be issued is because you missed jury duty, right? So sometimes they refer to as jury duty scams. Say you missed jury duty, so they're going to issue an arrest warrant, right? Well, this person who's reporting an arrest warrant scam, he's saying it's because they failed to appear in court. So that's another reason they might say that you have to pay a fine because you failed to appear in court and they're going to issue an arrest warrant. So keep that in mind. But let's see what else. This is good. This included a lot of details. So this person who did the report says he receives a call stating I failed to appear in court. The caller ID was an actual Metro National Police phone number. So I thought it was legit. So there we go. That's another example of how someone saw the caller ID. It showed the police, right? It showed who the scammer was impersonating, so they thought they could trust it. Super important to be aware of it. That's why I mentioned it so many times on this live stream. Can't trust caller ID. You still have to hang up and verify. Because here's somebody that, a scammer impersonated National Police, and the caller ID supported that. So you can't trust it. But anyway, he continues. He said that I signed papers stating that I would appear in court, and because I didn't show up, there'd be a warrant for my arrest. I was later transferred to the captain, who said that I could turn myself in, but that if I did that, I would be put in jail and that it could take several days to sort it out. Or I could pay bond. Once the bond was paid, I would appear at the sheriff's department and they would verify my signature and I would get my money back. Interesting. So that's how they tell this person, instead of making us come out there and arrest you and instead of turning yourself in, if you pay this bond, we'll be able to sort it out and then we'll get your money back. But this is a scammer. So he thinks he's talking to the sheriff, but it's actually a scammer. He says he was sent to a liquor store. Oh, man. So he says he was sent to a liquor store to put the money into a crypto machine. So many red flags, right? The caller ID, the crypto, the Bitcoin machine, or the Bitcoin ATM that we mentioned earlier. This is a great example. I'm glad this person shared it. He says he questioned this. In fact, I questioned all of it, but they were very good at what they do. They use intimidation techniques, and I was afraid. I felt like they had me mentally hostage. They got me at a time when I was especially vulnerable. He says his dog has passed away a week prior. Wow. So that's a great example of a government imposter scam, or an arrest warrant scam. And he said he lost over $5,000 to this scam. All right, so that's why we go over this scam on the live stream. One, it makes people aware of it. That's why you go over red flags, because two, even if they're starting to fall for it, the crypto machine, that's a huge red flag. So anyway, great example. We did cover everything it talked, but it reinforced everything we said, and shows why it's important. Awareness is important. He lost $5,000. He's not getting it back. He put it into the crypto machine. Let's see what other reports are coming in here. A woman in new Jeep saying it broke down, parked on corner. I usually don't talk about these scams, but this has piqued my interest. Let's see what they say. Woman in new Jeep saying it's broken down, parks on corner, going around asking to use phone, but talks you into using your Wi-Fi. Then gets into your phone, knows your Wi-Fi password, then says, goes to curb using phone. She had to copy info, went in the house, realizing this was a scam. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. That's interesting. Maybe he's saying somebody's trying to get on his computer network and give him their Wi-Fi. That's kind of a new one to me, but you know what? Never give your Wi-Fi out to strangers knocking on your door. That's for sure. Some good advice. If that's starting to become a common scam, let me be the first to tell you, don't give your Wi-Fi to strangers that are knocking on your door. And this narrative might be something worth remembering. If someone's knocking on your door saying they broke down on the end of the street, there's a Jeep parked out there, asks to use your Wi-Fi. Interesting. Don't trust it. Let's see, investment fraud scam. Let's see what this one says. This is interesting. Phone number called me, had my husband answer. The guy on the phone said I have a union benefits that I'm entitled to. After he got off the call my husband, the guy texted me documents, which my phone automatically downloaded. The documents had my full name, phone number, birth date, my mother's full name, and her relationship to me, and my old address. I texted back that I have not been part of a union for over 9 years. The guy says the benefits are still processed and approved my name. So this is interesting. I'll never get the union benefits again. When I asked what company he worked for, he stopped talking to me. I don't know if anything was implanted on my phone or gained access to my personal information when the documents were downloaded. As of right now, I'm not aware of breach, but this just happened yesterday, 10/20. Wow. Interesting. So if she gets, okay, that's an interesting narrative worth being aware of, right? She gets an unsolicited phone call. They're claiming to be with the union. In her case, she questioned it because she hasn't been part of a union, but maybe if she was part of a union, she wouldn't have been so quick to question it. So this type of scam is important to be aware of, right? You get these unsolicited phone calls claiming to be regarding the union. And what's interesting about this report is the scammer sent her documents with all her personal information. And it goes to show that these scammers, they have personal details about you. I mentioned that earlier too. I'm going to say it again. Third-party data breaches, right? The union may have got breached, right? Maybe that's why that scammer had the documentation. But really, any of that information that he gave, it could have been from any breach. Name, phone number, address, birth date. Really, like any application that she may have filled out for any third party for anything. If that third party got breached, the scammer has these details now. And they use that personal information to appear more legit and believable. Right? So this is a good, nice example that she shared with us. You get some random call about union benefits, hang up and call your union directly. Even if they have these details that they give you, that's great. I'll call my union directly. It's a good example. I think we're going to wrap up on that one. Because we just hit 3 hours. Been streaming since 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to wrap up tonight's live stream. We appreciate you all. If you joined a little late, it's all good. Just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, follow. You can join our free mailing list here on scamware101.com. Hit join mailing list. We'll send you some scam awareness tips, reminders when we're going live. Follow us on your favorite social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, and X. Last chance to say hi in the comments in the live stream chat. Again, I appreciate you all. Whether you came here and stuck around from the start, if you joined later on, we appreciate you all. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for the super thanks again today. Always appreciate you. Thank you for the membership, kid, if you're still around. Everybody else who joined the live stream. We'll be back next week, October 30th, the day before Halloween. We'll go over some spooky scams to be aware of. All right, everybody. Thanks again for watching the live stream. We appreciate you all. Now, bear with me while I get all these live streams stopped. And until next week, stay safe. I'm Jared with Scamware 101. Thanks for watching.